perfect place for two teams whose grit has taken them this far. Because it's not about talent. This time of year, everyone's talented.
Oh, baby! It's been an avalanche of runs. Exclamation!
What separates them is grinding out each at bat.
At the wall, it's gone!
Hustling and battling for every possible advantage.
What a catch!
Now, they're back on the grind.
We about to turn it up.
One side hoping their bats stay lively.
Back-to-back bombs!
The other looking for their home crowd to provide a lift. So welcome to Philly. Game 3 of the National League Championship Series starts now on FS1.
There is Bryce Harper getting set for the Phils. It's Game 3 of this NLCS. Phillies and Padres were all tied at 1 as the series shifts to the East Coast. And for San Diego, Brandon Drury back in the lineup after a monster Game 2 with a home run and 3 RBIs, looking to stay hot and give the Padres the edge in this best-of-7 NLCS. Ranger Suarez, the left-hander, will get the call for Philadelphia. He's had a really good year, only one playoff start. See if he can give the Phils a little bit more length in this one tonight. And Big Papi with the Reggie White, God rest his soul, old school jersey in Philadelphia.
You know it. I went to his last game, Kevin, up in Green Bay, man. Big fan. Rest in peace, my man. Representing. You already know.
I love it. You're getting the fans all riled up between the commercial there. Of course, Papi, as we know, has the Eagles jersey on, putting his money on the line. The Fox Bet Super 6 app, free to play. Just scan the QR code right now.
Come and get my money.
Answer 6 questions, and you could be the winner of $10,000. Here's the question for us. Frank, who's winning tonight, Game 3? Who do you have?
Another tough one, but I got to go with this crowd tonight. Phillies 6-3.
Going with Philadelphia. Papi, what do you think?
Who you think I'm going
with?
Let's
go Alex first.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the. I'm going to go. My guy Jim Kramer is a huge Phillies fan. This one's for you, Jim Kramer. 7-4 Phillies.
2 for Phillies. Papi, with your money.
I got the Eagles. I got the Eagles. Hey, Eagles are on the way, man.
Eagles are on the bye, but we get the idea.
Baby.
He's going for Philly. Everyone's going for Philly. We can't wait to get this Game 3 going. Up to the booth we go. Joe Davis and the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Guys, take it away.
All right, Kevin, let's do it then. Game 3 of the National League Championship Series set to begin from raucous Citizens Bank Park. The scene shifts from San Diego here to Philly with the series tied at a game apiece. Welcome inside with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. I'm Joe Davis. Boy, what a wonderful, crazy, unpredictable sport this is. You got the Padres in the first game of this series. They get shut out on just 1 hit. How do they respond? Well, they come back and they score 8 runs on 13 hits, and we got a series tied at 1.
Yeah, before this series started, I said this was probably the 2 most evenly matched teams. They got here the same way. Big innings, clutch pitching, but big innings. Well, how does this series gone after 2 days, 2 games? It's about even in every category. Offensively, these teams are doing it similarly. 3 home runs. You see the runners in scoring position in the ERA. I think the series is going to continue this way, but whoever keeps the opponent from the big inning is going to win.
Padres feeling pretty good about things right now. They thought to themselves, if we can just get Game 2, if we can just get out of the home part of the series with a split, they feel good because of the guy they have going tonight. Joe Musgrove has been as good as anybody over the last month.
Yeah, it's the way it's lined up for the Padres. He's pitching in a perfect situation because this is the most hostile crowd. He will pitch. And, oh, by the way, he did it in New York, L.A., and now he's going to try to keep the offense of Philadelphia, which has been awesome at home, in the ballpark. He hasn't given up a home run the last 4 games. He's not unbeatable, but he's pitched the last 6 games like he's unbeatable. And I think for the Padres, a good way to start their road with their best pitcher.
All right, Joe Musgrove for the Padres. Ranger Suarez for the Phillies. His first outing since Game 1 of the division series did not go particularly well. They're hoping for a much better postseason start, too, from him. It was an incredible scene for the division series when they took down the Braves. They'll have the red towels waving again with the postseason chill in the air, the temperature in the 50s tonight. Game 3 of the National League Championship Series comes up next on FS1.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening. Two challengers step back into the ring, vying for a shot at the title. In one corner, San Diego's hometown kid gets his chance to play hero again.
5, 4, 3, 2, I let one go.
And in the opposing corner, in a city known for its fight,
You're a roughneck.
a couple of Philly southpaws looking to land another powerful punch. The Padres are ready. The Phillies are ready. Round 3 of the NLCS.
5, 4, 3, 2, I let one go.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Now, how do you follow that act? Philadelphia native Michael Buffer getting us set for Game 3 of the 2022 National League Championship Series on FS1, presented by Loan Depot. Bob Melvin's Padres splitting the 2 games in their home park. Rob Thompson's club back in front of their fans. And we go down to the field with Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, here we go. A potential 5 games in 5 days. A remnant of the lockout that delayed the start of the season and led to the elimination of an off day. Pitching depth will be paramount, and the Padres appear to have a slight edge in that area. Longer starts will be essential beginning tonight, with both clubs planning a bullpen day tomorrow. Shouldn't be a problem for Joe Musgrove, but it adds to the pressure on Ranger Suarez, who lasted only 3 1/3 innings in his division series start against the Braves. Get ready. The focus on the manager's decision-making is about to become even more intense. Now, over to Tom Verducci.
Well, thanks, Ken. When Bryce Harper signed here in 2019, the Phillies were coming off 6 straight losing seasons. He was the centerpiece to a rebuild. Now, he's always played with confidence, but here in the postseason, he is playing with what manager Rob Thompson calls an unprecedented level of comfort. The burden wasn't getting the Phillies into the postseason, and now that he's here, he is tearing it up with an extra base hit in 7 straight postseason games. This is the first time since 2012 the Phillies are hosting an NLCS game. This is what Harper had in mind. This is why he is playing with confidence and comfort. Joe?
Yeah, leading the majors in just about everything in this postseason. Leading the Phillies into this championship series, which is tied at a game apiece. And the Padres ready to bat here in Game 3. Ha-Sung Kim to lead it off, with Juan Soto batting second, hitting just .222 in this postseason, but a couple big hits over the last week or so. Manny Machado bats third, an MVP candidate. Brandon Drury came to life with a home run to spark the comeback in Game 2. He's followed by Jake Cronenworth and Will Myers getting the start at first base instead of Josh Bell. Profar, Grisham, and Nola finished things up in the Padres order. Ranger Suarez's postseason debut, John, did not go as planned. It was Game 1 of the division series in Atlanta. This is a guy who normally pounds the zone, but he walked 5. And when Rob Thompson caught up with him the next day, he said, what's going on? And he said, I was too excited, and it won't happen again.
Yeah, you get those nerves out of the way in your postseason debut, and look, he is a strike thrower. Most people aren't going to recognize when you see his fastball combination, he throws it a lot in non-2-strike situations. Here's the key. Got to get a better batting average against in the top of the order. The last couple of weeks has not been good, 542 against, and he's got to be able to get that breaking ball and his off-speed stuff against this hitters, and this is a big strike offense. They haven't scored in a lot of innings. Stay away from the crooked number.
He has a pitcher-friendly home plate umpire in this game, and Ted Barrett, who is the crew chief. Yeah, we are all set in 1-1 series. The Game 3 winner goes on to win the series 70% of the time historically. Phillies took Game 1 2-0. Padres came back 8-5 in Game 2. Off we go in Game 3 with a strike from Suarez.
Yeah, Suarez sneaky good. I mean, if he gets the ball down, he can pitch up with his 4-seamer. Kim does not like the ball down. He is a big swing looking to strike type hitter, but the ball down is an out.
0-2. Ranger Suarez, 27 years old, out of Venezuela. Faced these Padres back in June. Much different looking lineup, but had the second longest outing of his career. He went 7 1/3. The 0-2. Ha-Seong Kim had a base hit, scored a run. And the 8-5 win for the Padres on Wednesday. 8 of their 9 players had a hit. 8 of the 9 players in the lineup scored a run. Strike 3 called, 1 gone.
Believe it or not, Suarez will get more looking strikeouts than you would think based on his repertoire, and he goes inside with a 2-seam fastball. Look, both catchers have done a nice job framing pitches, but that one caught the inside part of the plate. And I think most umpires will tell you framing doesn't do as much as people think to get the strike call, but you nailed it. An aggressive strike calling umpire is only going to help a strike throwing pitcher.
Juan Soto to the plate. Just .222 in this postseason, no home runs, but he says every at-bat feels a little bit better. And it started to look that way. He ripped a few balls in game 2, including the game-tying double.
You know what he does? I mean, nobody takes more pitches in this postseason than he has, and maybe even in baseball. But as the at-bats build up, he sees every pitch a pitch has, and his third time through, he destroys pitchers. And that's a really good, confident, calming, patient approach, because most hitters in this game don't want to get to 2 strikes. He's comfortable with 2 strikes, but right now, this crowd's comfortable.
Back-to-back strikeouts from Ranger Suarez. 2 gone in the first inning.
And again, another caught looking, a 2-seamer away. And this kid has learned from his first game. You can just tell he's revved up, but it's not costing him pitches. Meaning, when you're revved up and the adrenaline's going, you can overthrow your sinker. You overspin your breaking ball. He's been there, done that after that game in against Atlanta.
Well, when he told Rob Thompson that he was too excited in that game, Rob was thrown off because he says Ranger is never too excited. That's just not his personality. And early indications are he's harnessing it a lot better in his second postseason game and his first one in front of his home crowd.
Well, they better not just pour a fastball in there against this guy, because he will swing and unload on the first pitch. So make a quality first pitch.
This guy is Manny Machado, who does unload on what was a high-quality first pitch.
Yeah, there's late movement that you may not be able to see at home, and that's the difference between a barreled ball. You see it come off his fingertips, and then late movement away and pounding the strike zone.
No, only about half his pitches were strikes in that outing against the Braves. He only lasted 3 1/3. He's looked like a different guy in this first inning. 1 ball, 1 strike on Machado.
Now, I will say, because we did that game, a lot of close pitches that didn't go his way on 3-2, got some walks, so he was those nerves and just a pulled inch here or there.
2-1 on Machado, who had 3 hits, including a home run in game 2. As Machado goes, so go the Padres. .417 the average in wins this postseason. 1 for 12 in the losses. On a 2-1 from Suarez, it's another change. A sinker, actually, and it's in there for a strike. 2-2.
Yeah, and that swing was the result of 2 pitches inside, changing that eyesight, and then going right back out there with nasty movement. He really can throw any pitch he wants right here. I'd be interested to see if he throws the breaking ball after he threw that sinker away.
Strike 3 called on the first 2 hitters. Here's his 2-2 to Manny Machado.
Looks like another heater.
It was, and it runs it full.
He's a guy that fields his position. They don't really need to worry about up the middle. He's one of the best defenders at the pitching position because of the way he finishes on his pitches.
His 3-2. Machado sends it in the air to right. Castellanos to the corner with room. 1-2-3 first inning for Ranger Suarez, and the Phillies come to bat when you come back. Musgrove in his second season with the Padres just keeps on getting better. He's got the ball here for game 3, and we take a look at our pitcher profile sponsored by Google Pixel. Got off to a fantastic start this season and was named an All-Star with an 8-0 first 12 starts. Then he struggled through the middle part of the season, and he felt like what he learned battling through that led to this. His last 6 starts, a sub-1 ERA, including in New York in the wild card round, 7 innings, just 1 hit, and then in the clinching game of the division series, 6 innings and 2 runs against the Dodgers.
Well, he can do it all, and his pitch mix is one that you just can't eliminate. He throws a lot of breaking balls. He's going to have really 3 of them. You consider a cutter kind of a breaking ball, but his curveball, watch it fall. We talked about Nola falling off the table. This is a bar stool, like way up at that table. That's how much it drops.
Kyle Schwarber, who homered against him earlier this season, fouls off a first pitch fastball. Strike 1. You think that the curve, that vertical drop you're talking about on the curve, is as good as any from a right-hander you can recall?
Right now, the way he's throwing it top to bottom, and he can change the angle. Like if the box of the strike zone, you want to go one corner to another corner, that's splitting it, and that diagonal, that will be more slider-like. Top to bottom of those lines is going to be the curveball, and then the cutter's trying to bear in on left-handers. He's eaten up left-handers so far in the last 4 games.
And overall this year, lefty's hitting just .203 because he's got that big curve you're talking about, and it looks exactly like that fastball that maintains its plane, and it's eat these guys up.
Yeah, he's throwing more fastballs, 4-seamers than he has before, and it's a good formula.
Yeah, against the Dodgers in the clinching game of the division series, he threw more 4-seam fastballs than he has in 2 years.
Yeah, you know, again, how do you handle the launch angle swing? You go to the top of the zone, you cut it in, and you throw breaking balls that miss the barrel of the bat.
2-2. Kyle Schwarber, who went 0 for his first 16 in this postseason, has an on-base above 500 over his last 4 games, including that monster home run in the first game in San Diego. Leads things off here, and he's worked the count full.
Now, I know they've got a team theme to lay off the high fastball, but easier said than done, and a good job so far for Schwarber. 3 of them above the zone. Only 1 did he attempt to try to go after.
Three-two pitch. In the air to right center field. Back it goes. Leadoff home run.
Great discipline in that first at bat. I'm surprised the cutter was thrown on a 3-2 pitch, and that 3-2 pitch was not where he wanted it, but Schwarber deposited it for a home run. Hadn't given up a home run in 4 straight games. Well, the Phillies just checked that box.
What a way to start a Friday night here in Philadelphia, where the party was going hours before the game as they filed in here. Yeah, he's taking it up another level. Volume in this place. Phillies 1, Padres nothing. Rhys Hoskins takes a strike. Boy, if you're a pitcher and Joe Musgrove, you come into this giant environment, and he enjoys this. He relishes a chance to pitch here, but that happens right away. Man, oh man.
Yeah, that's a wake-up call. But the one thing that he has going for him is there's a lot of right-handed hitters in this lineup that if he does get in trouble, and again, we've seen nothing but solo home runs. Solo home runs don't beat you unless the game won.
Unless they do.
Unless they do. But he's got too many right-handers in this lineup, if he's on, that he can get a lot of swing and misses and a lot of outs. The left-handers that we talked about he's dominating, well, the leadoff hitter got him for a point. There it is. That pitch right there, until you see it, you have no idea how high that pitch starts. It looks like it's way a ball and then just drops straight down into the strike zone.
1-2 to Hoskins. Breaks away for ball 2.
And he changes the speeds on him, too. He gives him different looks, different speeds. Hoskins is trying to avoid a 14th consecutive game with at least one strikeout. And I know that's his DNA. He's going to swing and miss, but he's looking to launch in left field for a homer. Tough matchup here against Musgrove.
Yeah, he's 0 for 8 against Musgrove. 3 Ks. On a 2-2 pitch. Reaches out, stays alive.
Well, the homer right here, you see this cutting action, and it almost becomes more of a BP fastball when it's not in the right spot. He was intending to make that in the inner part of the strike zone so he could almost jam him, and it went right down the middle and fed to what we talked about. Cutters and sliders give up a lot of home runs.
Another 2-2. Hoskins has worked it full. Guy that has seen more pitches than anybody in baseball since he broke into the league 6 seasons ago. Longest tenured Phillies position players. Had some big moments in this postseason. Phillies 1, Padres nothing. 3-2. Hoskins takes the walk.
Well, Grant, again, I know they have a team theme, and so far they're exercising it.
Home run hitter Kyle Schwarber is with our Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Kyle, you hit a 3-2 pitch. What was your thought process as the at-bat progressed?
Stay through the middle with him. Good pitcher out there, good breaking balls. It's a good heater if you're if you're on the breaking ball. So you just got to be able to stay on the heater, trust to get in the zone.
What about the energy in this place right now?
No, it's great. I mean, you can't say enough about the crowd. Setting the tone for first pitch and leading into this inning. We're going to keep it going the whole game.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks.
Joe, back to you.
He had 7 leadoff home runs during the regular season, his first of the postseason.
You know what's unique about this crowd, and it's not every city has this. I don't think there was a seat empty 30 minutes before the game started. And that's, you got a lot of parks, big cities, late arriving crowd, traffic. They plan for it. They've been here and ready to rock for a while. And I'll tell you, if you're Musgrove, you must pitch to a dull roar. I said, if you're going to pitch on the road, which he has, dull roar. It's going to be loud. If it's super loud, that means traffic on runs, and vice versa for Suarez. Pitch with a raucous crowd. That means you're doing your thing.
JT Realmuto to the plate as Musgrove still searches for his first out of the day. And these people were able to get here well before the first pitch, even though there's a Smashing Pumpkins concert going on next door. Next door to that, there's a Temple football game.
Poor Temple.
I know, right? Taking the bronze medal in this area.
Well, JT, it was not this way in the regular season, but in the last 11 games with a runner on, he has not been very good. He'd like to break that 0-43 batting average with runners on in the last 11 games.
Hit a Musgrove breaking ball out for a home run back in June. Takes a ball here, and it's 2-0.
There it is. First home run in the last 25 innings. And he, look, this crowd will get you a little bit off your game. He's just a little bit out front of some of these pitches, pulling them outside the strike zone, which doesn't tempt the hitters when they're that far out the strike zone.
2-0. Fouls it back, and it's 2-1. So much has happened already. We haven't gotten to see the Phillies lineup. Rest of it looks like this. Harper's on deck, then it's Castellanos in Bohm with Stott back in there. So is Marsh with the right-hander on the mound, and the veteran, of course, Gene Segura at second base. Phillies offense in the 2 games here in the division series scored 17 runs. It's been the case all year. They've loved hitting in this ballpark. On a 2-1 from Joe Musgrove. Realmuto fouls it off, and it evens up. Both these teams are hoping for repeats of the division series. The Phillies split the first 2 games on the road. They came back here and rode that home crowd to the series win over the Braves. Padres in the division series lost game 1 to the Dodgers, won game 2 and kept on going, and 3-game winning streak to win that series in 4. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hoskins at first. Counts full.
And see, that's what I was talking about. He hasn't made a lot of those pitches in this stretch, right? He's stayed back. Look at his shoulders, broad shoulders, throws over the top, but he's opening up so quick that the ball is leaking left. and not giving the hitter an opportunity to swing at it. When he's right, he starts those breaking balls in the strike zone. Hitters swing at it almost 70% of the time because it looks like a strike long enough and ends up a ball.
Yeah, a lot of ball out of hand in this first inning for Musgrove. Feeling the heat of this crowd. Home of the 3-2. He walked him. Homer, walk to open the night for Joe Musgrove. And look who's coming up.
Well, this will test everything you have if you're Joe Musgrove. You did not anticipate this kind of start. Homer, walk, and now a guy who swings more than anybody, but swings and misses a lot on the first pitch. He does the reverse. Goes for the downs early and then adjusts each pitch and really slows his swing down to make contact later.
Boy, you are not overselling it. That first pitch thing, this guy was the most aggressive guy in the National League on the first pitch this year. And out of the 4 home runs that he's hit in this postseason, 2 of them have come first pitch. Player Resume is sponsored by Indeed. Top hitter in baseball this postseason, and really Bryce Harper having the October that he'd always hoped for.
Well, you just know he's coming now really full into his timing after breaking that thumb. It was a really tough stretch. To come back after all that time and expect him to be the pre-Bryce Harper, he's getting close to it now post-Bryce Harper since the thumb break. And if that conversation at the mound is doing anything, I would believe that the pitching coach would say, keep that front shoulder closed a little bit longer, because when you leak it left, you're throwing a breaking ball with nothing to really stay behind. And we'll see if he makes those adjustments in a tough situation here with Harper.
Well, what are you doing here, John, when you're a pitcher who's struggling to find the zone, but you know if you find too much of it here, this thing might wind up in the second deck?
Well, yeah, and the left-hander may help him at least frame that breaking ball, because he's faced 2 right-handers, even though he faced Schwarber and missed a couple. He's got to start this breaking ball outside the strike zone and end it in the strike zone for maybe a swing, but he's trying to get anything he can to hit Harper to hit the ball on the ground right here.
Buckle up on this first pitch. Bryce Harper fouls it off.
And that's what happens every once in a while. You see the right-handed batter, you see the space, and you miss left, and a left-hander comes up there, and the spacing looks better for your breaking ball. Sometimes that's what it takes for you to get back on plane with your breaking ball, and that first one was a very good one.
Bryce Harper hitting .417 this October with 4 home runs. Extra base hits 7 consecutive games, tied for the Major League record in one postseason. The 0-1 in the dirt for ball 1.
His first changeup I think we've seen. And look, he's searching right now for the release point, and every pitcher who's been there done that. And you don't want to have too long of an inning before you figure it out. You'd love to have the warm-up pitches next inning to figure it out when no one's up there. But he's having to do it under some real-time stress here, and both teams, as we talked about, capable of putting a 3, 4, 5-run spot in an inning.
Yeah, these have been the 2 best big inning teams in the postseason. Phillies looking for one in the first against Musgrove. On a 1-1 pitch, Harper fouls it off, and it's 1-2. Had one, didn't he?
Harper's talking to himself right there. That was his pitch. He has a little bit of a fall away swing where he opens up that hip. Watch how quickly that hips get open, and he just gets the very bottom of the ball.
He hadn't missed too many of these last couple weeks. And this guy is often locked in. It's been on another level.
Now here's the dangerous pitch selection. If you throw a breaking ball down and in, you got to get it down and in. He'll swing over the top. Otherwise, you best throw a fastball up over the middle of the plate above his belt.
Hoskins at second, Realmuto at first. The 1-2 pitch. Harper got a breaking ball, bounce it to second. That could be the double play Musgrove is looking for, and it is 4-6-3 to change the mood of this first.
We got to I'm gonna put a little check mark right there. If we come back in this game and look at any pitch that changes the outcome of the game for Musgrove, the check mark goes here. He threw the breaking ball, he got the ground ball, and he's now 1 batter away from a huge escape. It wasn't the perfect breaking ball, but see how much depth it had in the strike zone, and that ground ball double play couldn't be any better for the Padres.
And so just like that, Musgrove finds himself on the verge of getting out of this with just the one run as Nick Castellanos comes up.
Do we need to say anything, or does the whole world know
that his swing is coming?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Grounded to short. There's Ha-Sung Kim, and it's a victory for Joe Musgrove, giving up just one in this first inning. Came in a home run from Kyle Schwarber, second of the postseason for the National League home run champ during the regular season. And after one, in Game 3, the Phillies with a 1-0 lead. Kyle Schwarber starts this game with a home run, and the Phillies have a 1-0 lead. Second time in Phillies postseason history they've gotten a leadoff shot. Jimmy Rollins with the other. Ranger Suarez looked really good in a 1-2-3 first. Here comes to Brandon Drury with a strike. And that was the thing in that first inning, John, that he wasn't doing against Atlanta. He was getting ahead and pounding the zone.
Yeah, he looks smooth. And smooth should be his middle name, because he has flawless mechanics and electric stuff.
I mean, that'd be a sweet name. Ranger Smooth Suarez.
Yeah.
I'm in. You thought the fastball, I mean, it's sneaky fast, right? But you thought that it played up in the zone better than you thought it would.
Yeah, because they're looking down with his sinker, and he's got the changeup and curveball. So when he pops a four-seamer up, it looks like 96, 97 to the hitter, because they're so looking out over the plate and worried about his secondary stuff.
And you saw there, I mean, smooth and sneaky, and that he's top 5 among left-handers over the last 2 years. Or just period in ERA. A year ago he had a 1.36 ERA in a season that started with him in the minors. Came up as a low leverage reliever. He was a closer by midsummer. Into the rotation by the end of the year. He's got Drury quickly. Already his 3rd K.
Well, against a team like the Padres, we've documented this. If you're just tuning in, they take more pitches than just about everybody. And so if you get ahead of them, it's really tough for them to muster up much, because they want to work the zone and get their pitch. Strikes early and then off speed late. This changeup, you can't tell the difference between a fastball and a changeup the way he throws it.
The changeup was a pitch in particular he had a hard time getting in the strike zone in the division series. He's been in there with everything so far in this one. Lefty Jake Cronenworth takes a strike. Cronenworth went 0 for 13 in the wild card round, but he's hitting close to 350 since.
Yeah, well, the one thing inside, he gives up a little. We talked about that. He doesn't miss many fastballs when he swings, though. Only 7% swing and miss on fastballs, so that tells me he's staying on the ball, not trying to get too big with his swing. But you got to give something up, and he'll give up the inner part of the plate and look for middle to middle away to do his damage.
See where Suarez goes. Back to the inside. Muscle to the left side of the infield. Bohm stumbles and has no play.
Well, that ball took a right turn. That's why he stumbled. It came in, and when we're going to see the replay, this thing had tremendous English on it, and there was zero he could do about it. When you're coming in on a ball that's jammed off of you, you think, okay, it's going to chase me. But watch. It goes the other way. So it hits something because of the way that ball was hit. It should have gone to his right hand. It went to his glove side, and nothing he could do.
That looked like a killer ping pong serve. Off the edge of the table.
That's amazing.
35 miles per hour.
Yeah, I was going to say that could be the softest hit in the series.
We'll take it. And the Padres have their first base runner. Up comes Will Myers, who lays a bunt down, foul. Really, they have 3 guys for 2 spots in this lineup: Myers, Drury, and Bell, and they've kind of rotated. Myers had the only hit for the Padres in the first game, and then wasn't in there in game 2. And it wound up being a good decision, because Josh Bell, of course, went back-to-back home runs with Drury. Today it's Drury and Myers that get those 2 spots. Longest tenured Padres, been there since 2015. Cuts and misses at that high fastball, that sneaky high fastball.
And that's what I'm talking about. Myers has that long swing that in the zone he's going to like to hit the ball. That's why they tried to climb the ladder and beat him upstairs with that 4-seam fastball. He's pretty good elevated fastball hitter, but see how tight that was to his he wasn't able to pull his hands in to get the barrel of the ball.
Ranger Suarez in his 5th year with time in the major leagues. Really, though, his first full-time year in the rotation. Back and forth between the pen and the rotation, the big leagues and AAA over his first 4 years. Snapped her over there, but Cronenworth's in.
So after going up with the fastball, you would think down in the lower third to outside part of the plate with a changeup or that breaking ball that he tried to bounce.
And this season on breaking pitches away, Will Myers is 2 for 31.
Yeah, and I would imagine most of those got to be about right-handed.
Right, he's sweeping. Back in with the fastball.
Couldn't ask for a better day in October to play baseball.
Doesn't it feel like the postseason? Yeah. I mean, besides the environment, just the chill in the air. Into the mid-50s tonight.
That was the pitch, and Will got enough bat on that ball to spoil it, because that was perfectly placed. He could use 2 more inches down, and he swing over the top of that. Pounded him in, and then change up away that he just caught off the end of the bat.
And so another 1-2. Turned it back up with a fastball and missed.
See what happens when you get beat as a hitter, especially up with a fastball. The tendency is to cheat a little bit more to try to get the barrel of the bat, so then you slow them down. You're already leaning. If you keep your hands back, you got a chance.
Good lead at first for Cronenworth. 2-2 pitch. Count goes full. Erickson Profar waits on deck in this 1-0 game. 3rd game of the championship series. Will Myers ready for the 8th pitch from Ranger Suarez. There goes Cronenworth. A fly ball to center field. Marsh on the move. Brandon Marsh will get there on the warning track. Back to first goes Cronenworth.
Well, if you're a pitcher in this park, that's where you want all the balls to go, because that's a deep, deep part. And Marsh gets a good jump and makes a great play. And get tricky in that corner. We've already seen an inside the park home run by JT Realmuto with the ball off the wall. So that's about where it gets funky for the outfielders, is in that area.
Yeah, this place decidedly different in terms of dimensions from the old Veterans Stadium. Very symmetrical. A lot of characteristics out there on that outfield wall. Inside, ball 1 on Jurickson Profar. First hitter that he's fallen behind first pitch. Now, Profar has reached in 8 of the 9 games this postseason. Back and forth between the leadoff spot and down in the bottom part of the order based on who's on the mound. Former top prospect in all of baseball. Ooh, got the call there, and it's 2-0. And Profar broke onto the scene with the Texas Rangers, then injuries really cost him his spot there. Disappeared for a few years, resurfaced with Bob Melvin in Oakland, and they got traded over to the Padres a couple years ago. It's been a valuable piece. On a 2-0 pitch, he takes a strike.
And he's another one that does a good job at contact. Not a lot of swings and misses, especially against left-handers. But the pitch that you really would want to get him out in a run-scoring situation might be that changeup that Suarez has.
Rangers seem to have a much better feel for that pitch so far tonight. Hard stuff. 2-2.
What a great pitch. Going on the inside part of the play. He's got a nice little hole there. Not big.
Two pitch. That was the change, and he took it
Didn't start it high enough. Now the Phillies are going to use, which a lot of teams are using, the pitch count. And what that is the catcher's got it somewhere. Looks like it's just on his forearm. He touches a button that tells the pitcher what pitch it is. The pitcher has the option, obviously, to shake, agree, or not. And he hears it in his ear. A little system under the hat.
On a payoff, Profar sends a breaking ball in the air to right. Castellanos has it. And that's it for the Padres in the second. $5,000 of Big Papi's money playing Fox Bet Super 6. Get the free Super 6 app on your phone now and enter your 6 picks in the NLCS contest. And all 6 picks are right, you could win big.
Did you notice he looks a little stressed lately about that? Losing some of that money?
Yeah, he's been flying out. Strike one on Alec Bohm by Joe Musgrove. You circled it, John, on your scorecard. Bryce Harper, that double play in the first inning after home run, walk. Could be key at bat in this series.
Yeah, he didn't have his breaking pitches for strikes hardly at all in that first inning. And to Harper, he got those breaking pitches over. And now he's pounding 2 straight strikes. So, you know, you never know when it's going to click for a hitter or for a pitcher. And that last inning might have clicked it in for Musgrove.
His 0-2 out of the fastball. It's fouled off. Alec Bohm 1 for 7 in this championship series. RBI hit in the 4-run rally early on in game 2. Phillies led game 2 4-0. Padres then scored 8 straight to win 8-5.
2 strikes has not been good to Alec Bohm when he has 2 strikes.
Big old bounce left side. Machado's there. 1 gone in the second inning, and we go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe Musgrove struggled in his first postseason with the Astros in 2017, and he had some interesting comments yesterday about how he let the crowds on the road get to him. He said he is now more aware of his emotions in such moments and how to control them, and he added that he almost enjoys pitching on the road more than he does at home. The way he put it, it's something about having your back up against the wall and having everyone weighing down on you. Something like that allows me to tap into a different level.
Well, and that's the key, because you know it's going to be totally different. And you're going to have more of the moans and groans if you're not doing well at home because things happen. You're just going to have flat out volume on the road when things aren't going well. So keep it to a dull roar and you're doing okay.
The dull roar became an explosion 1 batter into the game, but he's muted it a little bit since. Strike 1 on Bryson Stott. Rookie shortstop back in there with the righty on the mound. 0-3 in the first game of this series. Off of the bench in game 2. Quickly 0-2.
Yeah, he's staying back now, and you could tell by the pitches in the zone have late life, and he's able to keep that front shoulder a little more closed.
Joe Musgrove in his 7th year in the majors. Kenny talked about the run to the World Series in 2017 with the Astros. His first 2 years came in Houston. Then he went to Pittsburgh. It's a key piece in the Garrett Cole trade. Traded to the Padres before last season, and after the great start this year, headed in free agency, but signed a long-term contract with his hometown team. The largest contract for a pitcher in Padres history. He has earned it. Living a dream, of course, playing for his hometown team at a Grossmont High School in the San Diego suburbs. He gets traded to the hometown club, throws the first no-hitter in Padres history in his 2nd start. He's started both clinching games in this postseason run, the deepest run since '96 or '98 for the Padres, when Joe was cheering as a 5-year-old. It's quite a story.
Well, he's been on quite a run. I know that to go through the teams he went through right there, Mets and Dodgers, and pretty much in the dominating court fashion it was, man, was he on.
Well, that won in the wild card round in New York. Just 1 hit over the 7 innings. Stott digs out this breaking ball and has a base hit that gets by Juan Soto. Extra bases for Bryson Stott. He stops at second with a double.
I'll tell you something about Bryson Stott. He's fooled a bunch of pitchers into getting that breaking ball after feeding up a bunch of fastballs. He burned the Braves, and after a bunch of fastballs, that breaking ball was right where his bat speed wanted it. And he gets a double, like you said, just past Soto in the outfield. He was overmatched. When I say overmatched, when he got called up, they were just pumping fastballs. And now he's made adjustments. He fights them off, and he's really, really digging in his at-bats.
We had a good opening day. Went 2 for 4 on opening day as the starting third baseman. Then he went 6 for his next 66 and got sent down to AAA. Only got continued opportunities as quickly as he did because of injuries. First to Gene Segura, and then Didi Gregorius. They cut him loose to clear the way for Stott to play more. There's Segura, and there's a strike. And Stott has just kept on getting better. He's somebody who they think could win a batting title one day.
Yeah, it's an amazing progression when you hit bottom. And not that 6 for 60 is, I mean, that's just, nobody wants to go 6 for 60. And he's, just credit him and his work ethic and ability to keep grinding away at bats.
This guy at the plate here, and Gene Segura, has been a nice mentor for him. Helping him settle into the major leagues, because Segura's been there and done that. 11 years in the bigs. Flies one to right field for Soto. Much more routine here. Stott heads for third. Soto's throw not in time. So runner at third, 2 gone, and up comes Brandon Marsh. Phillies been an aggressive base running team all season. That puts Stott 90 feet away. For another guy down at the bottom of the order who has had some big moments in this postseason. Last game in this ballpark, Brandon Marsh hit a 3-run home run.
Same kind of scenario. Fastballs he's having tough times with, especially up above the belt. And he hit a breaking ball for that home run you're talking about. A lot of strikeouts early as he's learning in the big leagues against right-handed pitching.
That snaps a string of 14 consecutive strikes from Joe Musgrove. Brandon Marsh came over at the deadline from the Angels. It's been everything that they thought they were getting defensively. You saw him make that great play in center field in the top of this inning, and he's been much better offensively than they anticipated. On this 1-0 pitch, it's a curve and it's a strike.
Now the theme again for tonight's game is going to be the top of the zone for Musgrove and the bottom of the zone for Suarez. If Musgrove gets those fastballs up there and curveballs, nothing they can do with it. That's what I'm talking about. That height right there, the combination of what he can throw in that area is tougher on hitters who are trying to lift the ball and get it in the air. Top of the zone, working off of that, cutting action, cannot. Every hitter tries to get the barrel to it, and you see how late they are. And then he couples that with that top to bottom curveball.
Kind of the perfect arsenal for a big swing. If you got a big swing, he's going to expose it. His 1-2. Hammer is in the dirt, and it's 2-2.
Now, that's a great curveball, but it didn't start high enough. Right? Because a hitter, again, remembers the last pitch in his mind. Man, that pitch was up that I swung at. If he would have started that breaking ball a little higher, no chance. But he started it in a place where it did not go to the height of that fastball. And coming out of his hand right there, see how low it is? And the hitter recognizes it earlier than he would if that pitch started above his belt.
A lot easier to quit on. Watch miss in the dirt, even the count at 2-2. Here it comes. Back to the high fastball to finish him off. Phillies have stranded a few over the first couple innings. They lead 1-0. Get your game on at MLBshop.com. Authentic on-field caps, tees, hoodies, and more. Get all your postseason gear. Wear with the champs wear at the official source, MLBshop.com. Phillies have a 1-0 lead and a leadoff home run from Kyle Schwarber. Padres bringing Grisham, Nola, and Kim to the plate here in the 3rd inning. Trent Grisham was one of the breakout stars of the early part of the postseason, hitting .381 with 3 home runs over the first 2 rounds, but 0 for 7, 4 Ks in this championship series. Ranger Suarez starts the 3rd the way that he cruised through the first 2 innings, pounding the bottom of the strike zone. Grisham on the ground, diving stop, Gene Segura, he's still got it. Well, the veteran on the infield with a sprawling play for the first out of the 3rd.
Not only is this a great play because he had to dive to get it, this play, watch when he gets it in the glove perfectly and gets up and throws. That was total robbery. Opened up the glove, got it square in the webbing. Easy throw.
For the 32-year-old in his 11th Major League season, takes a hit away from Grisham. And it brings up Austin Nola. But a base hit against his little brother in that highly anticipated matchup in Game 2. He says that he wishes he could have pressed pause because it went so fast. Said it was special, but it went so fast. Yeah, moment that they're always going to talk about. He said he can't wait for the Christmases, way down the road. It's going to be a little too soon even this Christmas to go too deep on it because one of them is going to have hurt feelings about how this series ended. But what a great memory for the family long term. That's a shot on the ground to short. That is Bryson Stott, and a couple ground outs for the guy that produces as many of them as anybody because he's down the bottom of the zone so often.
Yeah, so watch the key that Suarez is going to have if he has success tonight. You see that low line? That's where he wants the hitter of the eyes. He wants to tantalizing them to keep going out there, get their eyes down so that he can use that pitch that really is a ball, but because he keeps pounding the low part of the strike zone, 41% of the time he's using that sinker, and then when he pops that 4-seamer up, boy, does it look like 6 miles an hour faster. So that's where he wants the Padres looking, and there's only a couple guys that are really good low ball hitters that he might have to adjust on.
3 batters, 3 grounders, and 3 outs on 6 pitches for Ranger Suarez.
Welcome back to Philadelphia. Bob Melvin, your pitching coach, Ruben Niebla, went out to the mound with Bryce Harper in the batter's box. Joe Musgrove has been much better since. What's the difference?
Yeah, just was a little too tall, wasn't into his legs enough. Ruben's been really good about that. It's gotten him to have a really good relationship with Joe. Knows what makes him tick. It was big right there.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right, got it.
All right, Tom and Bob. Kyle Schwarber takes ball 1 from Joe Musgrove. Schwarber's the guy that accounted for the run with a leadoff homer. Second home run of the postseason for the guy that hit 46 during the regular year to lead the National League. Second in the majors only to Aaron Judge, and he's ahead here 2-0.
Well, when Musgrove faced the Phillies June, he had a different approach. He threw a lot more sliders at 30%, a lot less 4-seamers, and today he's flip-flopped. He's throwing more 4-seamers and less sliders.
It's a continuation of what he was doing his first couple starts in the postseason. Schwarber flexes this one in the air to right. Off the handle a little bit. Soto's got it. 1 gone in the 3rd inning, and the postseason continues tomorrow. Game 3 between the Astros and the Yankees as that series shifts to the Bronx. And they get underway at 5 Eastern on TBS. We'll be back for Game 4 of this series at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Boy, the Astros, even though they're not blowing anybody out, they're unbeaten in this postseason, all by 1 or 2 run, and they have completely shut down that Yankees offense.
Well, what makes them special is they don't strike out much, and they strike the opponent out a lot. Just think about what has to happen in those times you do put the ball in play if you're the other team. You better be great, because they're getting a chance to put the ball in play a lot more. I think the other night, 15 strikeout disparity.
17-2.
I mean, that's insane.
And they're 5-0, John, in this postseason, even though Jose Altuve is 0 for 23. And as a team, they're hitting a .125 with runners in scoring position. Dominant pitching. And they're hitting home runs, timely home runs.
Well, for this new format, and certainly every game's been close, but this new format really gives the depth of your starting pitching the edge because there's not many days off.
Rhys Hoskins with the bases empty and one gone. Fouls this one off, and it's 1-2. The Yankees hope that the scene shifting to the Bronx and that the fact they have Garrett Cole and Nestor Cortez going in the next 2 games can help them get back in this series. It's been hard on all the hitters. The Padres, as up and down as the offense has been, as boom or bust as it seemed, the #1 average among the remaining teams at 233. Unsightly averages across the sport, as low as the postseason batting average has been in decades. 2-2.
Well, these two teams also lead in walks, so they're putting pressure on the opposing pitchers, and when they finally crack, they crack to the tune of a 5-run or 6-run or 4-run inning, and that's, you don't see that very often in the postseason. That's why these two teams are playing right now.
Hoskins, who walked his first time, checks his swing and runs it full. Yeah, both teams have had 3 4-run innings in the postseason. The rest of the teams combined have had 4 4-run innings.
And what happens when you go to 5-run or more innings?
I'm glad you asked, John. There have been 4 5-run innings in the postseason, and these two teams have accounted for all 4 of them. A strikeout from Musgrove and 2 gone in this third.
And that's the pitch that you could roll it off the table and watch what it does. It drops so far. And he's got those seams around that horseshoe, and he just has tremendous extension when he gets in front. You know, you think, a lot of people think, you throw your curveball from behind you. You really don't. You throw your curveball in front of you, and the more spin you have, the more break you have. And that was on display right there.
2 up, 2 down in this third inning. And JT Realmuto takes Cutter away.
I don't really think people can appreciate the year that JT had with superstar going out, teammate, and Harper. And he catches a ton of games.
Yeah.
So something's got to suffer when you catch that much. Your offense usually should go down. And he had a stretch where his offense took off.
And it almost corresponded exactly with when Harper went out. He was at 236 that day when Harper broke his thumb in San Diego. He had 310 the rest of the way. The curve lands and it's 2-1. And he's, by far the #1 defensive catcher when it comes to controlling the running game. He's by far the best base running catcher, not just right now, but statistically grades out as the best base running catcher in the history of the sport. Quietly, probably their MVP this year. Shoots this ball in the air to center field. Trent Grisham is there. Joe Musgrove has his first clean inning of the night. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Padres in the 4th inning. Soto, Machado, and Drury as Game 3 rolls on. The National League Championship Series on FS1 is presented by Loan Depot. Back here at Citizens Bank Park, where it's 1-0 Phillies on a Kyle Schwarber leadoff home run. Ranger Suarez has looked like a different guy here in his second postseason start. Now faces Soto, Machado, and Drury.
Well, Machado, this is where he starts going to work. You saw the strikeout in the first inning. He may still take the first pitch, but he starts getting a little bit more aggressive. He has struggled against, Soto up. He has struggled against left-handers this year. There's his aggressive swing.
Ranger Suarez, who lasted just 3 1/3 in his first start, hits Soto, and the leadoff man is on here in the 4th. Well, now it's Machado, and these two guys in the first game 0 for 7 as the Padres got shut out. But in game 2, Machado had 3 hits. Soto had the game-tying hit. Everybody got involved in that game, and the Padres tied the series up with an 8-5 win.
Well, that was a bad hit batsman against somebody who was struggling. Obviously, he wasn't trying to hit him. The last Padre hit batsman led to a lot of runs when Nola came out. Hand hit Cronenworth.
Machado into center field, hangs up for Marsh. And the first out of the fourth. That was that 5-run inning for the Padres. Now, the Padres have only scored in 4 of their last 33 innings, but 2 of those 4 innings, they scored 5 in 1 games because of it.
It's amazing, and I asked, Bob Melvin, how does that come about? I mean, momentum, feeding off each other, and look, that's just the way this team has proven itself. It might not be the sexiest offense statistically, but they've done enough in those 4 innings to get to this point.
Ball one on Drury. Drury's home run really started the thing in game 2. They were down 4-0. Drury and Bell homered on back-to-back pitches. Padres scored 8 straight. Drury hit 28 home runs during the regular season, split between Cincinnati and San Diego. Takes low here, and it's 2-0.
Now Drury, power stroke, middle third of that plate. He's trying to own. That's that first pitch, tried to back him off the plate. And then I would think Suarez would try to work away if he got ahead, but he's behind 2-0 here.
That's how he struck him out the first time with that changeup, and it's 2-1.
It's such an equalizer, right? I mean, some guys have curveballs they can flip in there behind the count. We saw Darvish do it a lot. We've seen Musgrove when he's been on. But that pitch right there, there is nothing you can tell from his delivery. He doesn't change anything, but the ball just doesn't get there.
Home with a 2-1. He doubles up on it. It's to the vacated right side of the infield with a shift on, and it's a base hit for Drury. First and third for the Padres. Hit them where they ain't. That's what Brandon Drury does there.
We said this a bunch, and it's worth repeating. Next year, that will never happen with nobody being on that side, but that's the scary part about a shift. All the information tells you that he's going to hit the ball to the left side, primarily on fastballs and changeups. Well, he hits that off the, literally off the end of the bat. And what would be an easy ground ball out is now a hit to a pretty good contact guy in Cronenworth coming up.
Padres a chance to tie this game up. First and third, one away in the fourth. Cronenworth had an infield single his first time. Takes a strike. The all-star Cronenworth bounces one to short. Stock goes to second, one, and Segura drops the ball. They say that he dropped it on the transfer. Either way, the run scores, and the game is tied.
I tell you, it's a tough call. They always are lenient towards the ball being in the glove and making the transfer. We're going to get a chance to look at this here.
Watching it live, I didn't think that he had it.
I know, but they give the player the opportunity to make this transfer if it comes in the glove at all. And I don't know that he even got in the glove. So this is going to be looked at. They always are going to be close to if that ball is considered in the transfer. But that's going to be a tough one to uphold.
San Diego is challenging the out call at second base.
Yeah, no surprise there. Going to take a look at this. You've got to have there's got to be a voluntary or intentional release of the ball there. And there was nothing about that was voluntary.
No, it didn't get in the pocket at all. It just got to the side. I mean, it was close, but this is a big call here in this game because the run's going to score no matter what, right? But they lose an out.
Gene Segura had a great defensive play for the first out of the last inning. He's going to give one back here.
The call is overturned. The runner is safe. San Diego will retain their challenge.
And so everybody's safe. Still just one gone, and we're back at square one in a tie game.
First baseman Will Myers.
Cronenworth gets credit for a run knocked in there on a fielder's choice.
And this is a good mound visit. Again, nothing was hit hard. It started with a hit bat. Well, he was hit hard.
Yeah,
it started with a hit batsman, and then off the end of the bat, and then a jam kind of put in play. I don't know if there would have been a double play, but there definitely would have been a runner on first and 2 outs.
Instead, first and second, one gone for Will Myers. That's beating a dead horse, but Phillies defense, the biggest issue this season. Gene Segura's been very good defensively for much of the year. Not there, though.
I was just simply trying to be as quick as he can to get that double play, just not score the run. And he's almost too quick.
That really cost him yet in this postseason. Suarez will try to pitch around it here. That's a high fly ball, but he got under it. And Myers is out number 2. Up to Jurickson Profar with 2 on and 2 out. Profar got off to a great start this year. He struggled for much of the second half. And Bob Melvin brought him into his office and he said, hey, you look like you're gripping that bat so tight. Don't over try. Just go do what you've been doing all year. And he hit .315 from that point forward. He said that it took a lot off his plate, knowing that he didn't have to prove himself. His manager trusted him to just be himself. He's got Drury at second, Cronenworth at first, and on this 0-1, Profar cuts and misses. Good breaker, and it's 0-2.
Well, both pitchers, if Suarez gets out of this inning, avoided some major damage, as did Musgrove in the first inning.
Oh, 2. Spoils that one. Ranger Suarez needed 86 pitches to go 3 1/3 in his start in the division series. So just 54 pitches here, on the verge of finishing off 4. Very important for these starters to get length here in Game 3 with a bullpen day coming tomorrow, essentially, for both sides. Another 1-2 pitch. Lays off the change, and the count evens up.
I don't know if he'll have the guts to do it, but a backdoor breaking ball right here would catch him. He got him leaning out with that changeup over there. There's a couple ways he can go: fastball up and in, or, like I said, that backdoor breaking ball if they decided to do it.
Looks like they're coming in with the fastball, and he missed over the plate and got away with it.
The reason you tend to see is when you have a fading changeup away and he takes it, you start a breaking ball away, which is going to seem like, oh, there's a take, and then you catch the outside corner. It's a give-up pitch, but you got to have the confidence that you throw it to that spot.
2 on, 2 out. A 2-2 is high. Count goes full. Runners will get a head start. Padres looking for their first lead in this game. Phillies had it one batter into their first inning when Schwarber homered. Padres have tied it here in the 4th. And on the 8th pitch from Ranger Suarez, Jurickson Profar.
cracks his bat on a roller to short for stop. And that'll do it for the Padres in the 4th inning. Juan Soto gets hit. Smoltz has said it at the time, a bad hit batsman. The heart of the lineup coming up after that. The Padres put the ball in play and cashed in their first run of the game with a little help from the poor defense. Series tied at 1, game tied at 1. Bryce Harper to start the 4th.
Well, you know he wants to make up for that double play here.
Breaking pitch popped out of Joe Musgrove's hand. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, they say they simulate so many situations. If you simulate that situation 100 times.
Yeah, how many times did it spit out double play?
Not very many.
Key moment in this game, perhaps in this series. The Padres and Musgrove certainly hope so. The game started home run Schwarber, walks to Hoskins and Real Muto. Musgrove just didn't look like himself over the first few hitters. Then he gets Harper to bounce into a 4-6-3 double play. And 1 batter later was out of the inning with no further damage. Back-to-back breakers to start this at bat, and then a cutter is inside, ball 2.
Yeah, he got his breaking stuff going against Harper, and it really hasn't changed since then. He's thrown a lot of strikes since that at bat, and really pounding with his off-speed pitches. So that's what's made him so special. A lot of character in the first inning.
His 2-1. Outside. It's what's made him special today. Really, it's what's made him special in his career the last few years, is that he's gone to that version of himself. Used to throw the fastball a bunch. Dialed that way down. And down in the very bottom of the leaderboard in terms of fastball usage. And in that way, Bob Melvin compared him today when we talked to him to kind of Yu Darvish-like, and that he's a spin master.
You know, we talked before the game. You asked me, who does he remind you of? And it's just popped in. I mean, it's Adam Wainwright breaking ball. It's a little firmer, but it's the same style where he throws it out of his hand. That thing just pops in the strike zone and gets a lot of takes.
Adam Wainwright would tell you he wouldn't have had the career that he's had without that pitch. That's sharply hit in the ground past Cronenworth. Base hit Harper to start the 4th.
This ball was hit so hard, even with the depth of Cronenworth, he still couldn't get to it. Might have bounced over his dove. He could, yeah, it did. And that's just how hard that ball was hit. Bounced over his glove. But this is the situation for Philadelphia, in my mind, when you're facing elite pitchers. After Harper, can you get any damage or any contact with the next 2 hitters? Castellanos, he can make contact. It can be early. And then, of course, Bohm. So this is where Philadelphia, 2 right-handers, have to do something other than provide opportunities for outs right on right.
Castellanos grounded to short first pitch that he saw his first time. Grounds it to short again. 6-4-3 double play. John, if you're a pitcher getting ready for this lineup, you're looking at those 2 spots, Castellanos and Bowman. You're saying, here's where I know I can kind of get back.
Absolutely. And even if you're not on your game, because they're so aggressive. Look, they're going to beat you when you make a mistake. But if you make, you know, if you're facing a team that has 2 hitters back-to-back that like to swing, stuff like this can happen. And that's why I said, when you look at the lineup card, every pitcher does it. You circle the guy you don't want to beat you, and you go to the areas that you have a chance to get out of jams with swing and miss stuff or strikeouts. And in this case, 2 outs for the price of 1.
Alec Bohm now. He scorches 1 through. So second hit of the inning, but thanks to the double play, a whole lot brewing just yet. Bohm's at first with 2 out.
And just to follow up on Nick, Nick is not that guy. Nick is a solid hitter. He's just been out of his comfort zone this year for whatever reason, in a funk, whether it's mechanically, and you get in swing modes, and you know you have this frustration. But I'm telling you, watch next year, or even watch the rest of this postseason if he clicks it, because he is a hit machine, gap to gap, and just having a down year average-wise.
Inning continues. Bryson Stott, who doubled his first time.
He's got to be thinking, get ready to hit a fastball right here. If you're Bryson.
The double came on a curve. Both his big hits in this postseason have come on breaking balls, and it was a curveball.
And that's fine. You know, he hit with it. But if you're going up there to hit a fastball, or at least if hitters nowadays, not as many, sit on a pitch, then when you see a spinner like that, it's an easy take because you're looking for four-seam backspin or cutter kind of spin to hit.
Stott, who just turned 25 years old, fouls this off, and it's 0-2. First round pick out of UNLV in 2019. As recently as a year ago, he was in A-ball. Climbed the ladder, reached AAA at the end of the season. Then he goes to the Arizona Fall League, where teams send a lot of their best prospects. They want to see a little bit more. Rob Thompson was there and watched him play, and he was blown away. He said, that guy, I mean, that is a big league quality at bat. And so what he's done breaking out as this rookie season has gone on has not surprised his manager. One-two from Joe Musgrove, fades away, and the count evens 2-2.
He's a big man, broad shoulders, goes downhill with some nasty stuff.
Played high school football. He was an O-lineman and he was a defensive end. You can see this guy playing outside linebacker in the NFL. Here's his 2-2 pitch. Off the hands, foul ground, and we'll do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Stott. He's cut down in the swing and miss a bunch as this rookie year has gone on. He had a 3-week stretch this summer where he didn't swing and miss a single time. Rarely chases. When he does, he makes more contact than anybody in the National League on pitches outside of the strike zone. Pretty advanced stuff for a young player. On another 2-2. Stott fouls it off. Again, stays alive, barely getting a piece of the curve.
You know, we talked about this before. Just the approach of everything has changed just because the reward system's changed and philosophy's changed. Guys don't spread out with 2 strikes, shorten their swing. And he's actually adopted a kind of in-between approach to that. Cut down a swing. You mentioned him making contact more than not. But the big boys are not going to deviate at all. They're going to let it rip and try to get one of those 3 true outcomes in their favor. Or 2 of the 3, walk and a home run.
Another 2-2 to Bryson Stott. Ripped to right towards the corner. Soto won't get there. It's off the wall. Stott with another extra base hit. Bohm stops at third. Second and third with 2 out. Fights off pitch after pitch after pitch, and then again with 2 strikes delivers.
Yeah, again, you know, you're going to look back if you're the Padres and wonder about this pitch selection. He throws them a changeup, but see how that changeup just speeds up the bat? If you're sitting back trying to fight off fastballs and you get a changeup middle, that is a recipe for disaster if you're a pitcher. And with 2 outs, luckily this did not score Bohm, and you have a chance to get out of the inning once again. Fastballs he's not catching up to. 2 off-speed pitches now. And he's got 2 doubles to speak for him.
Yeah, and the double play looms large at this point. Second and third, 2 gone, and it's up to Gene Segura.
Well, we see stats every day and numbers, and you know, most of them you got to presume are accurate. I'm not saying they're not, but the ones I've seen on Segura I still can't wrap my head around.
What do you got?
He has not swung and missed at a breaking ball in the zone all year. I'm not going to buy it. I don't believe it. But that's what the stat says. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, it's a guy in an era where we just talked about the highest average in the postseason for any team is 233. Gene Segura in his career is a 285 hitter. These days, that's like back in the old days, somebody hitting 350.
Yeah.
Phillies looking for a base hit here. Second and third, 2 gone. Tied up in game 3. Gene Segura takes a curve at the top of the zone for a strike. He didn't swing and miss, though.
He did not.
No. Been waiting his whole career for these moments. Played more games than any active player without a trip to the postseason before now. He's behind 0-2.
Well, the 2 best pitches you can make against a guy who's got a short, quick to the ball type swing was a high breaking ball for a strike, followed by a high fastball that he just couldn't get around. But this guy's tricky. You can't assume he falls into the patterns because of his style of hitting. You just can't necessarily go back up there thinking he'll swing and miss at it. He finds a way to make contact.
Bowman third, Stott at second, 0-2 to the plate. Segura lays off, and it's 1-2. Well, the Phillies have 3 hits in this inning, looking for their first run, and it's kind of turning into the story of this game against Joe Musgrove. A pitcher of this caliber, so hard to get runs against him, but they've had their chances. They've already stranded 3. They've got 5 hits through 3+ innings. They've got a couple walks, but just the 1 run to show for it. Segura trying to change all that. 1-2. And for Joe Musgrove, this has been a big part of his story this year. Runners in scoring position and 2 outs. The league hitting below 150.
Remember, bottom of the zone for Suarez, top of the zone for Musgrove. He's gotten close to getting that ball up there, but he has spoiled it, Segura, on each occasion. I mean, it would almost be impossible not to freeze him on a high breaking ball, but it's hard to think that you could throw a high breaking ball with runners at second and third. 1-2 count.
1-2. Breaking ball. He fights it out. Base hit right center. Gene Segura delivers. Phillies take the lead. What a piece of hitting.
This is what I was talking about, his short to the ball approach. Up harder, down easier to get the barrel of the bat to the ball. This is the style of hitter he is. Watch, it doesn't look pretty out on his front foot, but he gets enough of the bat to the ball to just get it over the second baseman. Up, he can't do that. Down, he can do it. Huge 2-out hit. But I'm telling you, that whole inning was set up with 2 outs by the changeup double by Bryson.
Segura does his own version of the Rhys Hoskins bat slam we saw in the division series. Now he's going to get picked off. Well, the highs and the lows of this postseason stage for Gene Segura, all in one trip to the plate and to the bases. Puts the Phillies in front with a 2-out, 2-run single, and then it's caught napping. Over the last inning, this error allows a run to come in. This base hit puts him in front, and then seconds later, oh no! He gets picked off.
Well, in hockey, he'd be plus or minus 0, right? 2 runs.
That's true.
2 outs.
Yeah. So it's a wash, and it's a 3-1 game. On to the 5th here in Game 3 of the National League Championship Series in Philadelphia. Ranger Suarez, who lasted just 3 1/3 in his first postseason start, has been a different guy today.
No, he has. He's been on the attack. Looks like he's in complete command and control of most of his pitches. And like we said, down in the zone, that's where he wants to be successful, and that's where he has been.
Trent Grisham, 1 ball, 1 strike. Trent grounded out his first time and is still looking for his first hit of this championship series. Ahead 2-1.
Well, every pitcher knows this is a big inning when your team gives you 2. You need to go and at least get the leadoff hitter out, but put up a 0 is huge.
A couple big hitters here with the top of the order. Lumen gets a bounce at first. Oh, it's by Hoskins. Ugly stuff. Grisham into scoring position. It's then kicked to the sidewall by Segura. And bad news Phils over the last minute or two. I mean, this is a routine bouncing ball.
Well, you see how the glove got. I mean,
sure.
Yeah. But you're going to get the ball and you close it real quick, and that is 99 out of 100. Unfortunately, you saw the 1.
Oof. Trent saying the same thing. Wow. So he's in scoring position. And now Nola grounds one through. Diving stop by Bryson Stott. And he throws him out. This way, that way, this way, that way. Really bad, then really good.
I'm going to tell you something. We talk about the greatest shortstops that are going to probably be on the free agent market this offseason, and rightfully so. These 2 shortstops are so under the radar. Kim is going to be full-time shortstop for the Padres, and no one could have seen that coming. And no one would have seen this coming for the Phillies. Didi Gregorius gets released, and this is a big reason why the left side of the infield is getting improved with Bohm and now Stott. That's huge.
They got their guy, don't they? They got their guy at shortstop.
I think so.
And that was a question. And them developing players through the system was something they hadn't been doing. But Stott graduated from it, and he's been awesome. Here is Ha-Seong Kim. Grounds one left side, 2 Stott. Grisham's going to come in to score. A result of the bad Phillies defense, and it's 3-2. So the 2-base error to open the inning opens the door for the Padres to get back to within 1.
Well, this seems to be a series of things that happen to you on the field. The players have made up for it at the plate. Remember, Soto had a tough time with the sun in San Diego and then came up with a big double and really became the inning that they win the game. We just seen what Segura did. Now maybe it'll be Hoskins' time when he gets to the plate.
He sort of had that in the division series from game to game. He had the error that, or not error, was ruled a hit, but cost him in game 2 in Atlanta, and then came through with a ear-shattering home run. Really on first game here in Philly. 1 ball, no strikes on Juan Soto. 2 balls, no strikes on Juan Soto. He got hit by a pitch last inning, came in to score. In this ballpark, he's reached in 28 consecutive games. He's hit 12 home runs at Citizens Bank Park in his career, more than any other park outside of Washington, where he's played most of his career.
Yeah, and when he faces the starting pitcher for the third time, his on-base percentage is unbelievable. And it just speaks to the way that he works the count, comfortable with 2 strikes, even though he struck out in the first.
He's gathering all that information against you. He puts it to use later in the game when he sees it that 3rd time, sometimes a 4th time. On this 2-1, Soto hits it hard, but right at Segura. Him and Hoskins both with another chance to make fundamental plays. Phillies give one away, and it's 3-2, halfway home in Philly. Well, Geico is donating tickets to honor military members and their families at Major League stadiums around the country through the Geico Seats for Service program. Today, we welcome U.S. Navy Lieutenant Commander Shannon Sweeney and U.S. Navy Hospital Corpsman 3rd Class Anita Garner. 3-2 game. Phillies in front to the bottom of the 5th. Joe Musgrove goes back to the mound. Gave up a leadoff home run to Kyle Schwarber and then gave up 2 runs last inning. 9-1-2 for the Phils in the 5th. Brandon Marsh, who struck out his first time, takes ball 1.
Well, if you'd have told Philly fans you're going to get 3 off of Musgrove, he said, sign me up. He's been that good. But 3 is what they've got. And this is the type of game that managers are going to have tough decisions. And what I mean by that is when it's close, the leverage guys, and then we've got all these games in a row, right? So you really have to make the most of winnable games. And I'm not saying 3-2 right now in the 5th inning is a winnable game. I'm just saying that as the game plays on, those decisions are going to have to be made with the mindset of tomorrow and the next day. Guaranteed 3 in a row. Don't know about the rest. But you have to win if you're going to put your high leverage guys in with no day off coming up.
Because, yeah, the 5 games in 5 days thing, it only becomes a problem if you mess up.
Right.
But if you pull the trigger on your guys and it works, you're not going to have to worry about
That's
5
exactly
games
right.
in 5 days.
So the 5 in a row sounds weird because we've never had that, but it really doesn't come into play, again, to your point, unless there's a hiccup along the way, and then you're wondering how many days in a row the guy can go.
Musgrove home with a 1-2 and strikes Marsh out the same way that he did the first time with that high fastball. Now coming in March on Fox and FS1, the World Baseball Classic. And Team USA loading up. Several of these guys already committed. This is a look at what it could be for Team USA. Star-studded cast. Mark DeRosa.
That's right.
That club.
Former teammate Mark DeRosa getting a chance to be in the pressure cooker. Defending champs.
That's right. And to try and defend it, you can watch it all on Fox in March. Kyle Schwarber, 2nd home run of the series to lead off the game. Take strike 1 from Musgrove.
Schwarber looks so much different than that slow start that we talked about in the postseason. Mammoth home run. Just looks more comfortable with his hands and the timing.
He figured it was a matter of time. Couldn't lay off there. This is a guy who was in his 8th year in the majors. This is the 7th year that he's played in the postseason. And he's not just played there. He's had iconic moments. I mean, 5 home runs as a rookie in 2015. Nothing more impressive than what he did in 16, where he came back after missing the whole year and reached in half his plate appearances in the World Series for the Cubs. And then last year, homers against Garrett Cole in the wild card game. The home run that he hit in the first inning today was his 11th in the postseason. I mean, he's in the top 6 or 7 all time in the percentage of his at-bats that end in homers. That's a list headed by Babe Ruth, which is the guy that the scout that recommended the Cubs draft Kyle Schwarber as high as they did compared him to. Yeah, how about that for a count? Babe Ruth.
They're both left-handed.
That's, yeah. Stan Zielinski's a legendary scout. He said, squint your eyes. Imagine grainy film of the Babe. And he said that same short left-handed swing. Kyle Schwarber, pick him. And the Cubs did. 4th overall out of Indiana. On a 2-2 from Joe Musgrove. Schwarber swings and misses. Musgrove with a good breaker to get him this time. 2 gone in the 5th.
Well, that's the feel for that breaking ball, and he's throwing it a lot more since the first time through, and that breaking ball is getting that feel of that downward action. It's just so hard to hit. I mean, this is firm, starting as a strike, disappearing. It's a big league hitter swinging at a pitch that bounces before the plate or on the plate.
And a locked in big league hitter. And Schwarber. Got the call there. Well, he hadn't got many calls at the bottom of the zone. He does below the zone from Ted Barrett for strike 1 on Rhys Hoskins. Walk and a K for Hoskins. hitless in 9 at-bats against Musgrove in his career.
Well, that was his pitch. And when you're struggling against a particular pitcher, you know you're only going to get one pitch, or at least that's what you feel, because you're not seeing the ball. And that just happens over time. The numbers usually work a little better towards the hitter when he's started out rough, but he had his pitch to hit right there. I don't know that Musgrove will get him another one.
Struck out Marsh, struck out Schwarber. 1-2 on Hoskins. Joe Musgrove, who pitched the clinching game in the wild card round, pitched the clinching game in the division series. Trying to give him a vital Game 3 win in a 1-1 series. His 1-2 pitch.
Well, the one thing that the Phillies have done, besides the 3 runs they put on, they've made him work. He might have 1, tops 2 more innings. They've made him work hard. He's got 85 pitches and has not completed the 5th inning yet. So, if nothing else, the swinging Phils have made that pitch total go up.
Another 1-2.
Strike 3.
Watches strike 3, and Joe Musgrove in the 5th strikes out the side. Well, these are the kinds of decisions you got to make in that big chair that Rob Thompson now sits in. He takes Ranger Suarez out of the game at 68 pitches. 2 runs, 1 of them earned on 2 hits. Zach Eflin comes in, and I get that you don't like the idea of overexposing him and seeing the heart of the lineup for a 3rd time, but he was pitching really well, and you're playing the first of what could be 5 games in 5 days. Triggering your bullpen earlier than you had to.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting decision. We'll get to know the reasons, probably tomorrow. I mean, he hadn't given up much hard contact. Some hard ground balls, but that's what he gives up, ground balls.
You understand, too, that Manny Machado leads off, and he's very capable of, if you feel like that's a bad matchup for Suarez, tying the game with 1 swing. And so he goes to Zach Eflin, a longtime starter who's been working out of the bullpen to this point. Over the last month plus, it's 1-2 on Machado. Eflin's 1-2.
Wow, it's one of the rare balls that JT drops that may have very well cost him a strike. That was really nasty sinker on the outside part of the plate. Watch this. Dots the corner, maybe just below, but makes it look a lot lower when you drop it.
Manny Machado, who has carried this Padres team this year, chops 1 left side. Boom on a short hop. Nice play. And 1 third baseman gets another. So 1 gone in this 6th inning, and it was quite a night for Ranger Suarez.
It really was. He deserved a little better, and he was outstanding. And down in the zone, not a lot of hard contact. And defense let him down just a little bit. 3 strikeouts. There they were in the low part of the zone. And you just wonder, does it give him the ability to come back a little earlier if the series goes a little later? Because tomorrow's for sure going to be Johnny bullpen. At least that's the thought.
Or then game 7. Eflin to Drury. Pinpoint. Strike 1.
Eflin's become a different pitcher ever since he got away from the mechanics of analytics, meaning they were driving him to throw a 4-seamer up, and he wasn't comfortable, hadn't had success. He went right back to the sinker, and he's been a different pitcher since. It's his strength, it's his wheelhouse, and now if he's going to get beat, he gets beat what he feels is his best weapons, and he's proven that to be right.
Quickly 0-2 on Drury. And again, the reason that analytics say is throw your fastball up is because it works when you can do it right. But that doesn't fit everybody's stuff. And for Zach Eflin, he's better down at the bottom of the zone like that, inducing that bouncer. Segura gets there but has no play. And Brandon Drury's got his 2nd hit of the night.
He's hitting the perfect spot. Playing him to pull on the shortstop side.
It's Brandon Drury, who went 1 for his first 15 in this postseason, is 4 of his last 7. Tying run aboard for the Padres here in the 6th inning. And Jake Cronenworth, who knocked in their last run, is up.
He's been taking a lot of. At some point, he's got to change the pitching scouting report. And I'll tell you why. There's going to be a moment, because if you know you've got pretty much an 85% chance he's going to take, it changes your pitch selection. You get almost, if you can get a quick strike on the guy. Something somewhere during this series, he has to change that scouting report and swing on the first pitch and do something with it.
Pick your spot for a sneak attack. Takes the first 2 here, and it's 1-1. Jake Cronenworth does have power. 28 years old in his 3rd year. A 2-time All-Star that not a lot of people saw coming. He was a throw-in the Tommy Pham trade before the 2020 season. Rookie of the Year runner-up his first year, and All-Star both full seasons. And this 1-1 from Zach Eflin. Cronenworth hooks one down the line, foul.
Yeah, I always wondered that term, how people feel about that.
Throw-in?
Hey, you were a throw-in.
Well, when I'm setting up the fact that he's become a star, he can take it. Yeah. What am I, chopped liver? Oh, you're a throw-in.
I saw that under somebody's hat, and I didn't know what that meant at the first. You know, I saw underneath, wait, what's throw-in? Like, are you trying to throw in? It was a pitcher. He goes, no, that was a throw-in in the trade.
I use that
and
now.
it's my reminder.
1-2 from Eflin. 2-2. Zach Eflin, former first-round draft pick of the Padres. Long-time Philly now. One of the longest tenured Phillies, getting to be part of this special postseason run for the Phils. Their first one in 11 years. His 2-2 pitch makes it full.
Well, with this guy at the plate, you really could send the runner, and it doesn't have to be a fast runner, because you're trusting he's going to make contact and not swing outside the zone. So we'll see what Bob Melvin does, but this is the kind of hitter you would feel comfortable sending your runner.
Yeah, one of the best contact guys in the National League. Tying run at first, one gone. Drury runs. Cronenworth slaps a ground ball, base hit. And the Padres have him at first and third. Perfect time to put him in motion with the right man at the plate. And the throw-in continues to play like a star.
Well, this is just really good hitting and trusting. And again, not a bad pitch, but it changes the momentum. The more pitchers that are going to have to pitch in the game for Philly, you're asking a lot more pitchers to be on their game. And sometimes when a change happens, momentum can change.
We're going to have a pinch hitter coming up here. Josh Bell is introduced as the pinch hitter for Will Myers. A quick word from Evan Williams Bourbon.
Postseason calls for award-winning bourbon. Evan Williams, 1783 small batch.
Josh Bell has been waiting his whole career for a chance in the postseason. The 30-year-old finally getting that chance. He homered in the first game of the postseason off Scherzer, and then he homered against Aaron Nola. One pitch after Brandon Drury hit his home run. And Josh says, I was going to take a strike. There was a long half inning before that, but then Drury homers. And I said, you know what? If I get a fastball right here, I'm going to be ready for it. And he was. And he crushed a homer.
Well, this is a good contact guy, too. For as big as he is, you would think he's just up there hitting homers. I mean, he's a good high ball hitter, but he doesn't swing and miss a lot. So with the runner on first and third, it's going to be a lot of pressure on the defense on whether they play the infield in. Do they play for the double play? And right now it looks about halfway for the middle infielders. And, of course, Bohm will be more in at the corner.
So the Padres at first and third. Down a run in the 6th inning of Game 3. Drury's at third. Cronenworth's at first. And Josh Bell pinch hits for Will Myers. Oh, nasty take right there. That's a tough one to lay off of. 1 ball, no strikes. Against Zach Eflin, Josh Bell is 2 for 5 with a homer. He's hit 14 home runs against the Phillies in his career. On a 1-0 pitch. Bell takes ball 2.
Well, if you're Bell, you just tell yourself to not get too big on a 2-0 swing. You try to get aggressive and you get too big on a sinker. You're going to ground ball, double play it. You're looking for a pitch, kind of middle up. If he makes a mistake, you drive it. And Eflin's trying to do the opposite.
His 2-0. Bell grounds one to second. Segura spins and gets the out there. Big turn 2 and keep the lead. Segura, who's had an adventure here in Game 3, pivots and puts it on the money. The rookie stopped to first. The Phillies out of the jam. In front 3-2 in Game 3.
Oh, yes, indeed. Just ask around, you'll find it out.
Don't miss a thing this postseason. Follow at MLB on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to keep up with everything baseball. And the finalists for the 2022 Hank Aaron Award have been announced, and fans can cast their vote for the top offensive performer in each league at MLB.com/Aaron. Voting ends October 24th. Phillies 3, Padres 2. The series tied at a game apiece. JT Realmuto takes strike 1 from Joe Musgrove. So Josh Bell pinch hits, grounds into an inning-ending double play. Remains in the game at first base. Zach Eflin able to get out of that. Phillies have 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Broken bat. Diving stop by Joe Musgrove. What a play! Well, he prides himself on still being a great athlete. New pitchers can be good athletes, John, and he sure is.
Yeah, this is this is a hit all the way, especially the way that JT runs, and he just smothers it. And at this point, good enough arm from anywhere to throw. That's Machado-like.
You know, at Grossmont High School wasn't just a pitcher. He was an outfielder. He was a third baseman and a really good one. You mentioned he played offensive line and defensive end. Fields his position as well as anybody. Big play to keep the leadoff man off the bases in front of Bryce Harper.
I mean, you got to finish in a decent spot to be able to do that. A lot of guys who throw hard fall off to the first base side, and that's easily by most pitchers. But man, oh man, good play there.
Ball 1 on Harper. Harper with an 8-game hitting streak. Longest in the postseason since Ryan Howard in 2009. Ryan, by the way, is in the park tonight. One of the loudest cheers of the night. There have been a lot of them, but one of the loudest cheers is when they showed Ryan with his family. So, a strike, 1-1. Joe Musgrove at 90 pitches. One of the issues for him in that downstretch midway through this season was he couldn't get guys out facing him a third time, but he's been almost untouchable. See him line up a third time over this last month. Ball's behind Harper, 2-1. He says he thought it was mental, John, that he kind of became a different guy later into the game, tried extra hard, but he's been so much better lately.
Yeah, it's a little bit skewed, and I hate talking about third time through because it's a moot point. Nobody ever does it. So you can tell me all the numbers you want third time through. If you're not trained to know how to pitch, then you're showing the hitter everything you've got in the first 2 times through, so you got nothing to give the third time. So elite pitching, like Musgrove will figure it out. He trains well. He's big. He's strong. There should be no issues. But we just don't give guys the opportunity to do it. So that stat to me means absolutely nothing because there's just not enough opportunities to gauge it right.
Well, he's gotten the opportunities lately, and opponents are 4 for 29 when seeing him a third time. His last 7 starts. It's full on Harper. Hill and Garcia both ready for the Padres. Payoff. Harper goes up to get it and fouls it back. Castellanos is next. Two-time MVP, Harper. Grounds another. Yeah, it's foul. Stays at 3 balls, 2 strikes.
But that's the biggest thing. When you see the shape of pitches so many times in 2 at-bats, then the third time, yeah, hitter advantage way up. And if you're a max effort guy, you don't have much to go to. But he spins the ball in so many different ways. He gives the illusion that it's not the same pitch 3 times facing the hitter.
8th pitch. Put in play. Bell's got it. Musgrove to the bag. 2 out. Moments ago, Ken Rosenthal with Rob Thompson.
Here with Rob Thompson. Rob, what was your thinking behind taking out Ranger Suarez?
Well, he hadn't pitched in 9 days, and he was up close to 70 pitches. I think he was at 68 pitches. I just felt like third time through, Machado, Drury, that group of people, I want a right-hander on him. Eflin did his job. He got a bunch of ground balls. Some went through. That's all, but we turned big double play there to get out of it.
Rob, thanks very much.
All right, so there's the explanation from Rob Thompson. It works in the 6th inning. Of course, still 3 innings to cover, and those dominoes start falling as soon as he makes that change.
You know how I said that Cronenworth has to change the scouting report and swing early? The opposite's true here for Nick.
Spook him with a take.
A take, and it might be, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. That's a start.
Most aggressive guy in baseball during the regular season, and he's even turned that up a notch in the postseason. He's the kind of guy, though, if he gets going, he can carry an offense. Chase is here, couldn't help himself. 0-2. Joe Musgrove trying to finish off his day with a flurry. Alvarado's ready to go. Good against left and right. 0-2 pitch. A shot to left and a base hit for Castellanos. That makes it to the corner, and Castellanos has a 2-out double.
You know what he'd say to us? That's why you keep swinging. He got a hanger, and he didn't leave it in the closet. He took advantage of that pitch, hooked it down the line, easy double. Bohm was aggressive first pitch, last time up.
First base runner in a couple innings against Musgrove. And a chance of some insurance here against him with Alec Bohm coming up. Singleton scored with that aggressive approach in the 4th. Aggressive again, line drive, base hit, and it gets to the wall. Phillies take a 4-2 lead as Bohm drives in Castellanos, a 2-out burst.
It's amazing. It's almost as if they heard what we were saying. These two guys have to do something behind Harper. And they both did something huge with 2 outs. Harmless inning. Looked like a 1-2-3 inning. 2-out double. 2-out base hit. Musgrove out of the game.
The Phillies to the bottom of the 6th inning, or in the bottom of the 6th inning. Juan Soto is that close to a diving catch. And they couldn't quite get there. And Soto, problems in game 2 in the sun. Lonely feeling. This is earlier in the day, bounced by him. And then this attempt would have been a heck of a play. Not quite there in time.
Yeah, he gave it everything he had there with 2 outs. That would have been a serious momentum switch if he made that play.
It's Tim Hill.
Yeah, it's a funky lefty that basically every pitch throws with his entire body. Watch this.
To Bryson Stott. Strike 1. Stott, the first Phillies rookie with multiple extra base hits in a postseason game. He's got 2 doubles tonight. Now facing a guy who's thrown with his entire body. He's faced 5 batters in the postseason and retired them all, and he had 0-2.
I would think he'd try to sweep this low 3/4 delivery away from Stott.
The book not totally closed on Musgrove. Bowman second, his responsibility. They'll try to close it quickly. His 0-2. Shot foul. Well, the Phillies in the division series made some noise with 2 outs. First 2 games of this series, though, they were 1 for 19 with 2 out. Tonight, 3 of the 4 runs coming with 2 out.
They love hitting here. I mean, their stats prove it. Their success proves it. And they just took on a tough pitcher on a roll.
Over 45,000 in attendance here. The first postseason games in Philadelphia in 11 years. They waited more than 4,000 days to get postseason baseball back here. And they have been as much a part of the story as the team on the field, really elevating this team in the games in this ballpark. On a 1-2 pitch, takes away, and the count evens up. On 2-2, Bryson Stott watches ball 3 from 0-2 to 3-2.
Well, you know, Bob Melvin, I know he gets right-handers out too, but he would really love to reset the inning and send somebody else out there if he gets the last out here, which you can do under the new rules.
Right-handed batting, Gene Segura is next. Payoff pitch. Stott on the ground is short. Kim shuffles over there. Low throw and a pick from Bell. Josh Bell saves the day there on that throw from Ha-Sung Kim. Phillies add 1. They chase Musgrove from the game, and after 6 in game 3, it's 4-2 Philadelphia.
Want more postseason stats? Just ask Siri, who leads the MLB postseason in strikeouts.
Those 2 guys, Aaron Nola and Yu Darvish, do. 7th inning here in game 3 with the Phillies in front 4-2. Phillies took the first game of the series 2-0. Padres responded with an 8-5 win in game 2. For the Padres in the 7th, it's Profar, Grisham, and Nola against Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, kind of interested here with the strategy here. You wonder if he's going to go 2 innings if all things go well. You got the bottom of the lineup. And then, of course, the horses come at the top. So we'll see how Rob Thompson plays this with the 100 thrower, left-hander, 100 miles an hour.
Averaging 100 miles an hour. But missing with his first 2. And anytime that happens with Jose Alvarado, Phillies fans have seen enough of that version of Alvarado where they get worried when this happens. Yeah, he's been great over the last couple months, but for 2 years, there were way too many 2-0 counts, way too many innings where he came in there and just didn't have it. And so when you hear this quick reaction from the crowd, yeah, it's partly because it's in a tense postseason game, but it's also threatening to open up old wounds from a guy who just could not throw strikes his first year plus here.
Well, when he does, he gets to his cutter, and his cutter's pretty much unhittable so far. I hit about 116 on his cutter, but he's got to get that ball in the strike zone to be able to utilize it.
He does there.
And you know, most guys 3-0 kind of lay it in there about 4 miles an hour less. No, sir. It's 1 speed.
Nice and easy. A 1-hundo. 3-1 now. Profar swings and misses. He's found it. And it's 3-2. Took a little off to 99.
He's not going to have a problem next year throwing a pitch every 15 to 18 seconds.
Yeah, he comes at you, doesn't he? The lefty's 3-2. That's into left center field. Profar turns around 100. He's got a base hit and hangs on with a long single as Marsh hurries to the ball. Impressive stuff from Jurickson Profar.
You know, in a weird way, that doesn't become as big a rally as if he would have walked him on 4 pitches or 5 pitches. So he did his job. He got back in the count. He made him put it play, and that happens. You'd rather have him hit their way on than get the free pass.
Profar certainly earned his way aboard there, taking the 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Yeah, getting his second hit of the series. So now Grisham, who's looking for his first hit, at 0 for 9. Reached on an error in the 5th inning, came in to score the Padres' last run. Trent Grisham takes a strike. Trent Grisham has rode the ultimate career roller coaster. This is a first-round pick of the Milwaukee Brewers. Struggled in the minors. Everybody labeled him as a bust. Then he figures it out. He wins their minor league player of the year. Reaches the majors. Thrives his first 2 seasons. Struggles the last 2 seasons. Loses his job towards the end of the regular season this year. Now suddenly rediscovers his form in the postseason. What is this roller coaster to have in store for the rest of the postseason?
Well, somewhere between him and Nick Castellanos is the perfect recipe, right? If you're struggling and taking a lot of pitches, that means you only have 1 or 2 to hit, and that's a lot of pressure when you're struggling.
Him and Hoskins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I even mean the rate at which Nick swings.
Oh, I see what you're
versus
saying.
the rate of which he doesn't swing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
somewhere in between.
Opposites.
Yeah.
This is as patient of a hitter as there is in the league. Takes more strike threes than anybody in the majors. That's when patient becomes passive.
That seems to be the spot. Down, good fastball hitter. But you put it perfectly. I mean, taking strike 3 that many times would eat at you.
And he said he knows it. He knows that's his issue, and that what is his biggest strength, his patience, how selective he is, does become his biggest weakness. And to thread that needle, he represents the tying run here in the 7th. On a 1-2, Grisham swings and misses. Alvarado with a strikeout, 1 gone.
This is that cutter that is just nasty. Get behind it, turn it, follow through.
And that's the one that has helped him turn his season around. It's the one that he reformulated when he was in AAA in the first half. The 9-hitter Nola takes ball one. Nola's twice grounded to short today.
See, in a perfect world, when you've got the three hots, let's just call it three hot relievers in your pen, teams are so confined to try to use all three in a winning formula, right? Versus splitting them up and getting leverage so that you always have somewhat of a closer every game you potentially could win. It's almost as if they use them so much in the winning formula that you worry about tomorrow, or what if tomorrow's a winning formula? What if the next day's a winning formula? So, but that's what teams have kind of gone to and groomed some of these guys and their roles.
It looks like you're going to have to get 3 innings from a combination of Alvarado and Dominguez,
right?
The way that it is tonight. And Dominguez is somebody with a recent injury history who Rob Thompson has said, I know this is the postseason and we got to go get it, but I got to worry about his arm. I got to worry about this guy's long-term career. So him factoring into more than an inning with this 5 games in 5 days potentially coming might be surprising.
Yeah. That's why I think they brought him in, Alvarado, to pitch 2 innings if it works out.
Bottom of the order, then top of the order. Off the end of the bat foul, and it's 2-2 on Nola. Full count.
Oh, there was a lot of action there with the bat, but checked and said he held up. A lot of body movement, but the bat just staying behind the plate. Elbows made it appear like he might have swung.
On 3-2, Nola looks at strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Jose Alvarado. 2 gone in the 7th.
It's a different pitcher. You mentioned kind of the issues in the past that plagued him. Doesn't look like that guy now, even though there'll be times where the ball, 3-0 count. He's nasty.
Back to the top and Kim. Didn't get the call there. 1 ball, no strikes. Alvarado's season high number of pitches in a game is 28. In the postseason, the most that he's thrown is 19. And it's Sir Anthony Dominguez getting ready here in the 7th.
I think he's getting ready for Machado if it goes that far.
2-0. That would be firing your best bolt a little bit earlier than you ideally would want to. They'd have to figure something out for the 8th and the 9th with their top 3 relief arms so far this postseason in the game were already used.
Well, Kim has been known for some big hits for the Padres. This pitch right here, I would expect he's ready to wind up and swing on a 2-1 count.
Representing the tying run in the 7th, he takes ball 3.
Yeah, it was nowhere close for him to do that. Same applies here on the 3-1 count.
Soto looms on deck. Profar at first. 3-1. Kim bounces one. Right side. Gene Segura. Roller coaster night continues. He's at the top of the mountain right now. Diving defensive play. Oh, an up and down night this has been for Gene Segura. We go to the bottom of the seventh with the Phillies up 4-2. Earlier tonight, Gene Segura became the first guy in postseason history to have an RBI, an error, and get picked off in the same inning. And he's had a couple other defensive plays throughout this game that have been one way or the other noteworthy.
Well, you know why that's so huge? Is because Soto's on deck, right? That becomes first and third or first and second. Soto's on deck. You don't know what's going to happen. Huge momentum switch. Yes, it has been an absolute roller coaster of emotions for Segura,
who leads off this inning and fouls off the first pitch from Tim Hill. What a fun series this has been, huh? I mean, two teams that not many people saw coming meeting up in this championship series. It's been tightly contested, really entertaining.
It is, and they're really evenly matched. There's a lot of numbers that don't make sense to lead these teams here, but they're here for a reason, and the timing of everything that they've done has been perfect. And that's why I think you're going to see a series that's going to go down to the wire.
King charges this one and gets Segura for the first out of the seventh. And here's Brandon Marsh, who is happy to have Joe Musgrove out of this game. Musgrove struck him out both times on high fastballs. Strike one. Good luck. Tim Hill, a 32nd round draft pick. He's turned into quite a weapon for this Padres team. That's a soft bouncer to Bell, who takes it himself. 2 gone in the seventh. Throughout the postseason, catch a new episode of Flippin' Bats the day after every LCS and World Series game. And every Wednesday, Smoltzy joins Ben, previewing what's to come and, of course, dropping some great playoff stories. Smoltz has stories?
I have stories.
Don't miss Flippin' Bats the rest of the postseason as Schwarber comes up here. Schwarber's got stories, too. He's got 11 postseason home runs after he led off this game with 1. Strike one from Hill. Strike 2. Ball, 2 strikes. Not anybody warming anymore for the Phillies down there, so it looks like it's going to be Jose Alvarado for a second inning of work. He's thrown 22 pitches. Making his season high is 28. Schwarber sends one the other way. That's a 2-strike base hit. And it's another 2-out hit for the Phillies, who've made that a theme tonight.
That should do it for Hill.
Bob Melvin out of the dugout as soon as Kyle Schwarber gets to first base. With Rhys Hoskins coming up, he's going to go back into the bullpen. A 4-2 game in the 7th. postseason continues tomorrow with Game 3 between the Astros and the Yankees. As that series moves to New York, they get underway at 5 Eastern on TBS. We'll be back for Game 4 of this series at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Well, against right-handers, you only need 2 fingers for this big right-hander. Fastball, curveball primarily, throws a ton of curveballs. So Rhys Hoskins, you either have to stay off of it or get ready to hit a breaking ball, because you're probably going to see a few of them in this at-bat.
Third appearance of the postseason for Johnson. First one of this series. And Hoskins coming up here. Matt Vierling pinch running for Kyle Schwarber. That works out okay because they probably have Vierling out there as a defensive sub late in this game anyways. Hoskins has a couple home runs in this postseason. Both of them have come first pitch. It's not often swing at the first pitch. In fact, he's only swung at the first pitch 4 times in the postseason. And again, 2 of those 4 swings have resulted in homers. First one here from Johnson. Was too high to even consider. 1 ball, no strikes. Now for the Padres in the 8th inning, Soto, Machado, and Drury coming up. This Padres bullpen has been their biggest strength. The sub-2 ERA this postseason. 2-0 on Hoskins.
Well, trust me, he knows the scouting report. He's just trying to get the angle of a pitch that he can launch in the air. Typically left field. It's that sweet stroke that he broke in the league with a bunch of home runs to the left field side.
He's kept on going. 4 straight full seasons of at least 25. That is just foul. He got a 3rd consecutive curve and pulled the trigger for the first time, just missing down the chalk.
Oh, that was close. The beauty of the playoffs, you got umpires all the way down the line to help these kind of calls, but more importantly down the line to see if a ball's fair or foul in the corner, which in the regular season you don't have that help.
Yeah, we got 4 in a regular season crew, 6 here in the postseason with an alternate in the building as well. We'll rotate in. So 2 balls, 1 strike the count. Vierling at first, 2 gone. Check on him. He's got good wheels. Johnson's 2-1. Curves, 2-2.
He wouldn't dare shock him with a fastball here after seeing nothing but breaking balls. That was the good one again. Outer part of the plate that Hoskins really, unless he's thinking center, right center, doesn't want any part of.
Hey, it was a fastball and it finished him off. Scored us in for that Padres bullpen again. The studs coming up. Soto, Machado, and Drury with the Pods down 2. Sporting event on the planet returns to Fox Sports, and for the first time ever, it's taking over the holiday season. The FIFA World Cup begins in just 30 days on Fox and FS1. Well, here we go. This is the 8th inning in a 2-run game, and it's Soto, Machado, and Drury against Jose Alvarado. Strike 1. Matt Vierling, after pinch running for Kyle Schwarber, stays in, plays left. Jose Alvarado, the day the Phillies clinched, walked into Rob Thompson's office and said, "I'm not kidding. I want the ball every day." And he's almost gotten that. He's pitched in 7 of the 9 postseason games. He's on his way to throwing more pitches than he has in an outing all year here. And he's getting the heart of the lineup with a 2-run lead in the 8th inning.
You almost wonder if they're stealing outs with him and Rob Thompson. If he gets out Soto, would he let him face Machado? If Soto gets on, I think he takes him out for the right-hander.
That is Dominguez, who's ready to go. Ahead of Soto, 0-2. Comes back home. Soto's 0 for 2 today. Got hit by a pitch in the 4th inning to start that inning. Came in to score. The 1-2 pitch. Almost hit him with 100. Well, I didn't like that too much. Who would? 2-2.
This one gets away, and I mean, wow, how it misses him.
We saw his light flash before his eyes. How any hitter gets back in there after that, I'll never understand, never fail to appreciate.
If this was a regular season game, your guys on the bench would be going, "We got ice. Bring the time run to the plate." It's not your average.
You can yell back, "That was 100, buddy. You come wear it. I'll go get you the ice."
Yeah, it's not your average 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
2-2. Bounces one the other way. Base hit Soto. After 100 nearly knocks him over, he stays in there and starts the inning with a single.
I mean, you know, this is what we talked about and why he's such a great hitter. There was nothing other than that approach the entire time, I believe, once he got to 2 strikes. Shift was on. Great hitting.
And so that is going to do it for Jose Alvarado. Juan Soto, impressive stuff. And Sir Anthony Dominguez coming on, perhaps looking for 6 outs. It's 4-2 Phillies here in Game 3. For every home run hit this postseason, T-Mobile is donating $5,000 to Team Rubicon's hurricane recovery efforts. And when you text RELIEF to 595959, T-Mobile will donate another $5. So far this postseason, there have been 67 home runs hit, which adds up to $335,000 in donations for hurricane relief. Sir Anthony Dominguez has faced 15 hitters this postseason. Only 1 is reached. 10 of the 15 have gone down on strikes.
Whew. Nasty.
Manny Machado representing the tying run. Tries to lay off that 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Shows you how much it moves. It moves right into the check swing. And a foul ball for strike 1. So the Phillies piecing it together tonight over these last 4 innings with their top arms. Ranger Suarez goes 5 innings. Somewhat controversial call by Rob Thompson to take him out at 68 pitches. An inning from Zach Eflin. An inning plus from Jose Alvarado. And they've got 6 outs to get.
It's one thing to throw 100. It's another thing to keep dominating away at 100.
Oh, 2. Right back there with 100. Well, 6 outs in a perfect world to wrap up the game. But the main thing is that he's in here for Machado, and he's in here for the heart of the order. If it gets to a point where they're not comfortable with where the pitch count is going, there still are some good options in the pen, some good relievers in the pen, looking at the bottom of the order. But boy, oh boy, is Sir Anthony Dominguez the guy or what? He strikes out Machado, the 11th of the 16 hitters he's faced this postseason to meet that demise.
Well, each club's got what I call Terminator kind of arms, where if they got the lead, it's going to take something special to give it up, and that's Suarez, of course, Martinez, and then who can, I mean, Hader, striking out the world. Well, that's what the Phillies have too.
And Dominguez gets strike 1 on Drury, comes up there swinging. And who would have thought, John, we'd be talking about a Phillies bullpen like this?
Well, not 3 months ago,
and not
a year
2 years
ago.
I mean, it's been a punchline in
has.
recent years for these Phillies teams that have fallen short time after time, and the pen has been the biggest reason why. But guys like Alvarado and Dominguez have started to change that story. Drury lays off this time, and the count evens 1-1. And Dominguez, 2020 and 2021, pitched in 1 game. Underwent Tommy John surgery.
Came back this season, was really good. Then he struggled, missed a month with the triceps issue. Struggled a little bit coming back from that. But has hit his stride, and he's flaming it up there again to get ahead of Drury 1 and 2.
I mean, hitters, you know, they're never going to show that the pitcher has the advantage or edge or intimidated. But oh my, it's special when he's throwing glove side command and spinning that slider.
Drury 2 hits today, 4 for his last 7, including a home run. 28 during the regular year. Tie it with 1 here.
I mean, what's amazing is the Phillies have the 2-run lead, but you feel like all the pressure is on them because of the resources they're using in this particular game, right?
Checking with Tom Verducci.
Yeah, clearly Rob Thompson, Phillies manager, not worried about tomorrow, not worried about 5 consecutive games possibly. He's going for the kill tonight. With a lead in the 7th inning, he wanted no one other than his 2 best relievers to touch the baseball. That's Alvarado and Dominguez. Alvarado, he always wants on Juan Soto. He was in the game through Soto no matter what. And now it is Dominguez behind them. Rob Thompson managing extremely aggressively tonight. Listen, it's like having a full house and pushing the chips into the center of the table, right? It works great unless the other side has 4 of a kind.
Winner of Game 3 when the series is tied at 1 goes on to win the series 70% of the time historically. 2-2 pitch. Drury reaches out, knocked down by Dominguez, shovels to first, 2 gone. You wonder if that ball had gotten through, if they would have had a chance to turn a double play down the inning.
That's it's so impossible for pitching to remember where your guys are, to leave that ball go, and it would have been a double play, but that's putting a lot on a pitcher to have that memory.
Two away in this 8th inning. Jake Cronenworth, a couple hits tonight.
And a good fastball hitter. So we'll see where Dominguez goes, and we'll see if Jake gets away from that first pitch take in this crucial situation here.
You've been saying saving that bullet for a key spot, representing the tying run. Boy, that would have been one to cut loose on, but he took it. Strike 1. Dominguez has gone 2 innings 8 times in his career. Only 1 time this season, Game 1 of the division series. Again, this is his first year coming off Tommy John surgery. And he's the one guy that Rob Thompson told us before the game today he has to think extra hard about, given this stretch of 5 games in 5 days, how he'll use it. 2-1 on Cronenworth. Soto singled against Alvarado to start the inning. He's at second. 2 gone in a 2-run game. A 2-1 pitch. Right there again, and it's 2-2.
It's amazing the patience that this young man has at the plate. Bunch of 2s. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Fouls it off.
balls, another.
Tried to get on top of that.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Jake Cronenworth. Phillies 4, Padres 2, 8th inning. Here it comes. Line drive to second. Segura's got it. Sir Anthony Dominguez gets 3 outs in the 8th. It's 4-2 Phillies here in game 3. Padres got the leadoff man on. Dominguez came on and set him down in order. Well, have you ever wondered what players say on the field? Want to see celebrities try to hit a fastball? Or are you interested in baseball culture in Latin America? Check out MLB Originals at MLB.com/originals. Pierce Johnson stays in. Guess what? A curveball and a strike. JT Realmuto.
I'm going to check that out, Joe.
Which one?
What you just read.
It'd be amazing if that was all one movie, but I think that's 3 different originals. You got plenty of watching to get you through the rest of this postseason. Fastball for a strike, 0-2. So 4-2 Phillies in front. Got a leadoff home run. They got 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th. Phillies got a run in the 4th and a run in the 5th. And for the Padres in the 9th inning, Bell, Profar, and Grisham due up. So Anthony Dominguez needed 18 pitches to get the first 3 outs of what they hope will be 6 to wrap up game 3.
Well, if you're looking at the subtle differences between these two teams, and I thought this was about as evenly matched of a series as we're seeing in a long time.
Got him looking, 1 away.
If you're the Phillies, you don't want to get into the depth of the San Diego Padres. They have more depth. So you have to win the games you're supposed to win, and you need to win this series in shorter fashion, meaning less games. Your quantity and quality of the players you depend on are less, but they're just as equally as good as the quality and quantity of the Padres' depth. So the longer it goes, that probably is part of Rob Thompson's theory on why he needed to win this game or put all his eggs into it, because as the series were stretched out, that's where the Padres have the advantage, in my opinion. Everything else pretty similar.
Bryce Harper here with 1 gone. I think the other thing too, John, is on paper this is one that they shouldn't have been feeling good about, facing Joe Musgrove. So when you've got a chance to win it, you go get it, and then in a game like tomorrow, you're kind of playing with house money.
Yeah, that's a good point. Offensively, these two teams are the same, kind of. Built the same, score the same in bunches. Defensively, the Padres are better. Pitching depth, Padres are just a little bit better. But the intangibles and what got these teams here, Philadelphia has this amazing kind of stretch, as does San Diego. That's pretty even too, and both managers are kind of cut out of the same cloth.
Johnson home to Harper, who cuts and misses at a high fastball. The other thing that the Phillies have talked a lot about lately, more and more about, is just this kind of quality of playing so loose lately. There was so much pressure on the Phillies, the organization, each individual player, to get them here, to get them into the postseason. It was the longest drought in the National League. And now that they've gotten there, they're all just having a blast. Harper sends this one a mile high to Trent Grisham in center. 2 gone in the 8th, and now a quick word from Corona. Rob Thompson, Smoltz, said that he sensed that. In mid-September or so, he said he's thinking to himself, man, if we can just get in. First of all, I think we're built to win in the postseason because we hit the ball out of the park. We've got a couple horses in that rotation.
Yeah.
Second of all, I could see us getting comfy, kind of letting our guard down and just being nice and easy, being so comfy, having, relatively speaking, gotten the monkey off our backs just by getting into the postseason. Now go do it.
Well, He picked the hardest formula to do it, right? When this formula came out in the playoff system, it was like, man, well, there's a big disadvantage for the teams that don't get to be at home. They started on the road and won. Knock off the defending champs, and now they're here with San Diego with the same kind of route.
Check swing tap at first. Bell will take it to the bag. Let's keep in mind, though, it is the new format that allowed them to get in.
Yeah.
It's the last team in the field. They're headed to the 9th inning with a 4-2 lead. They send Sir Anthony Dominguez back out there looking for a 6-out save and a Game 3 win. Well, this is the anniversary of the 1980 championship clinching win for the Phillies at Veterans Stadium. Sir Anthony Dominguez comes home to Josh Bell with ball 1. He's trying to do something that's not been done by a Phillies pitcher in the postseason since that game when Tug McGraw had a 2-inning save. That's the last 2-inning save for a Phillies reliever in the postseason. And that is what Sir Anthony Dominguez is looking for. 2-0 on Bell. He's at 20 pitches now. This is something that he's done just once this year, going 2 innings. Edmundo Sosa has replaced Alec Bohm at 3rd. For the Padres in this 9th inning, it's Bell, Profar, and Grisham. That's a ground ball, base hit center field. And the Padres quickly get the tying run to the plate against Dominguez.
Nice job, man. Boy. Man, not great.
Bell got a favorable count and pretty much sold out on a fastball. Got it. And hit it right back up the middle.
Leadoff man on. Profar up. Phillies 4, Padres 2, 9th inning. Lays off 1-0-1. Ball 1.
You know, we never talk about the pressure on a defensive replacement sitting on the bench all day, and you mentioned Sosa comes in. It's not like he can go in the cage, take a bunch of ground balls. You can hit balls off a tee and get ready to hit, but he's going to rely on his technique and practice before.
Dominguez at 23 pitches. David Robertson has started to warm in the Phillies bullpen. Dominguez thrown as many as 36 in a game this year. Finds the corner there, and it's 2-1. Robertson in his first game of this series in game 2 didn't look great after missing the division series with a calf injury. If this gets to a point where Rob Thompson's not comfortable with Dominguez anymore, it may be up to Robertson to finish it. The 2-1. Ball 3. This Padres team that led the National League in walk-off wins during the regular year. Obviously not going to have a walk-off win tonight, but the point is it's been a good late rally team. On 3-1, Profar pulls one foul and the count goes full. Now in their postseason history, they've never won a game when trailing entering the ninth. 3-2 pitch. Another 3-2. Profar checks his swing, but he went around. Todd Titchener, the third base umpire, says that Profar offered, and he's throwing a fit, and he's been thrown out of the game. Let's see.
Tough one there. A lot of body getting out of the way. Actually makes it look like he swung trying to get out of the way. You can understand why he's upset. Big moment, probably the biggest moment with first and second, nobody out. And now there's men on first. Still tying run at the plate, but tough call, tough moment if you're a Padre.
So Profar called out on strikes. One gone in the ninth inning. Trent Grisham to the plate. Strike one. First pitch changeup from Dominguez. Grisham, who was the star of the show over the first 2 rounds, is 0 for 10 in this championship series. Part of that show was a bunch of home run power. He hit 3 of them over the first 2 rounds. Grisham golfs one here, shallow center field. Stott is there. 2 gone in the ninth inning.
But it's the angle that you're looking at, right? And because he has to get out of the way and kind of lean forward, you just wonder if that... It's always the toughest call when down the line for umpires.
You can understand the reaction from Jurickson Profar, though. And so the Padres are down to their last out, and it's Austin Nola trying to keep their hopes alive. Dominguez 30 pitches in and still humming. Strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes.
These are the situation closers. Obviously, he's got tremendous stuff. You just are thinking in your mind. It's not a negative thought, but you just know the only pitch that can beat you with power will be middle in, and he barrels it up. You stay away from that, you should be okay.
1-2. Phillies take game 3. And Sir Anthony Dominguez, the first Phillies pitcher to get a 2-inning save in the postseason since the clinching game of the 1980 World Series, and Tug McGraw did it. 4-2 the final, and they take a 2-1 advantage in this National League Championship Series.
There were so many moments, good and bad, in this game, and a chance to atone for mistakes. Some did, some didn't. But overall, another perfectly mirror image of each other. 3 games in, 1 run separates the 2 teams.
That is how it finished for Sir Anthony Dominguez. 3 more strikeouts.
His fans were up to the task again and making this a tough place to play. And how about Rob Thompson managing this game? Makes the decision to take Ranger Suarez out of the game after 5 innings at just 68 pitches. He gets a scoreless inning from Eflin, scoreless inning from Alvarado, and 2 from Dominguez. Down to Ken Rosenthal.
Gene, you had a crazy night. You had the error, you had the 2-run single, you got picked off, you made the diving stop to end the 7th. What was this game like for you?
I make that mistake in second when I boo the ball, and that's probably the play that I make 3,000 times if it happen again. But it's part of the baseball, you learn from a mistake and keep going forward. I have a pretty good at bat, important at bat, and next couple innings I came through. I just, it happened.
Now the pitch you hit, 2-strike slider, it was down and away, it was out of the zone. Gene, you do that a lot. How do you hit pitches like that?
I don't know. My approach is always the same. I just trying to put the ball in play, especially with 2-strike. Like you say, you don't know how I hit the ball, but I do it 1,000 times in my career. I just thank God I came through in that big moment for our team, and today we walk with a win.
Thank you, Gene. Joe, back to you.
All right, Kenny, Gene Segura taking full advantage of his first chance on the game's biggest stage. After 11 years, he gets to play in the postseason for the first time. Some huge moments over the first 2 rounds. He was hitless over the first 2 games of this championship series, but a 2-run single that proves to be the difference in this game 3. 4-2, the final score. We get the boys ready to recap this one and look ahead to the remainder of what promises to be a continuation of this thrilling series. Take it away, Kevin Burkhardt.
All right, Joe, John, thank you very much.